KW up the floor. Kennedy works left elbow of the lane, drives it, flips it up over Bennett, and it counts. And a foul. That was all Kennedy Williams. She would not be denied on Gentry Bennett, her second foul. 95-53, Nebraska on the right lane line. Kennedy Williams with a highlight reel finish. Kind of threw it over her head, falling out of bounds. And Kennedy Williams has a career-high 5. Versus the deep left side. Fisher puts it on the deck. She's not afraid to drive in and get a layup. Emily Fisher. Claire Johnson dribbling near Broken Bow on the Painted State of Nebraska logo. Huskers are just going to dribble it out. What a win for Nebraska. 103-58 is our final score, and the Huskers are 5-0 as they blow out Oral Roberts tonight at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yeah, I mean, it's a roster littered with 4- and 5-star athletes. Team that went to the national semifinals last year, so they seem like they kind of figured it out and put it all together. Right, Thursday. I mean, it's Indiana. Really a game that they probably feel like they should have won. They played really well against Michigan State, so I think our team knows exactly how talented the team we're facing, and a team that seems like they're united and playing well together.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live. STB, I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat HQ once again today. DB, what's going on?
How we doing?
We're doing all right. How are you?
How do I sound? I don't feel like I sound worth a crap, but that's no different than normal. How we doing?
I think you sound great.
You just for once being nice in your life.
I'm always nice. That's the misconception.
All by myself.
Why are you all by yourself?
I don't know. What's up?
Not too much, just parsing through the internet and hanging out and watching some hoops last night.
I have no laptop.
We'll get that to you at some point, probably.
Yeah, it's not the first time.
And by we, I mean not me at all.
It's totally fine. I've done a show without a computer before.
You want to share?
No. No. Kyle, yesterday we were doing a deal with Avery, and he's like, hey, I want to do the one shot, and we had the cool little mics on. He's like, hey, you guys got to get closer, and I could just see this look on Avery's face like, oh my god, this is about as close as I'm gonna get. Kyle, make this work. That's all right. I felt the vibe. It's okay.
Listen, some people are personal bubble space people,
Yeah,
not like,
as long as I'm doing, this is so shallow, but as long as I'm doing the controlling, I'll be fine. If it is dictated to me, I'm gonna struggle.
Not as big of a fan.
No, because I got to kind of gauge the scene, right? What I think the aura is gonna be, the the whole hygiene, I gotta do the dictating.
Hygiene's important.
That's very true.
Hygiene's important. That's why
I just asked my radio crew over at Nebraska.
I mean, yeah, I don't really understand I understand giving you a hard time, obviously, but I don't understand what their hang up on the hygiene is.
Well, it can be a little annoying. I'm the last one down.
Okay.
But I'm on time, right? So if the Uber's coming at 2:00, like that elevator's gonna open at 1:56, 1:57. Like, yeah. I'm gonna be there, but I'm not showering. I'm not getting dressed. I'm not getting cleaned up until the last second.
Because you want to be like freshly fresh when you're
especially if it's like 8, 9, 10 hours. Yeah. Taking that baby down to the wire. It's all right. I think you should be appreciative of that.
No, I don't.
Apparently, I'm a weirdo though.
I don't of the things that I would make fun of people for, which is plentiful, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think hygiene's like good hygiene, at least, is probably not one of them.
Thank you.
Like,
I did restock my pill kit.
I saw that.
I have everything, but I have to get some more Excedrin. I don't buy Excedrin.
Yeah, I don't usually use Excedrin.
But I do have the ibuprofen and the Tylenol and the lozenges.
I'm a big ibuprofen acetaminophen guy.
Yeah, so it took me, I don't know, years old to figure out the difference between the two, because they are not, Tylenol and ibuprofen are not the same.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant acetaminophen, Tylenol. I was like, no, those are the same thing. But yeah, go ahead.
No, see, people out here assuming. I got us in trouble yesterday.
Yeah. So Tylenol and ibuprofen are different. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. One is a NSAID. It's an anti-inflammatory in drug.
Why didn't you just call it that?
Because NSAID is the category of drugs that's what they're.
Well, why didn't I know that?
I don't know.
Good for Jeopardy, not good for setting up my binoculars.
You said I should always use you as my. Jeopardy.
I'd be pretty good. I'd be pretty good.
I think so too. I think we have different.
Just don't
areas
ask like basic day-to-day stuff.
I think I'd be good. We'd be good partners that way because I think I'd be pretty good with that stuff.
Yeah, me not so much.
I got the acetaminophen down. Like I got you.
They gave me the little kid chair. Are they suggestive, Henning? Because I'm certainly not going to sit in this.
Ravi set that up, by the way.
I just brought it there as an option if you wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm probably going to go up and like sit up or sit down and stand up a couple different times. Yeah, you can't lean on that table.
Shoot, man. I lean back.
It's not structurally sound.
What world is going on?
I think Austin and Rico broke it yesterday when they moved it.
Oh, with the scene set.
Yeah, when we decided to.
Standing is fine.
Yeah. No, we like to stand.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. Like at all. Stand in the place where you were.
Big REM guy, huh?
No, I like the one song.
One of my favorite.
Everybody hurts. That's it.
That I do with you.
Kobe make fun of me for the rod wave thing. Still makes me laugh.
One of my favorite bits is you'll sing a line to a song from a band I almost certainly know you don't like.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, big Green Day guy, huh?
Yeah. No. It's almost always going to be no.
I know. And I don't know why. It makes me laugh every time. I don't think it's funny to anybody else, but I'm going to keep doing it.
We were doing the equipment checkout on Monday or whatever, and it's just me and Coach Secor, and it's like a helmet room, so it's just the two of us. And he likes music, and I like music, and he's playing music, and he's super. Number one, he's like Teflon, so you can shoot a barb at him, and he's just gonna be like, yeah, whatever. So it's not that much fun, right?
It's more fun when it gets to people.
But the other thing is like he's super nice, so I didn't want to make any snide remarks about the music, but after like 20 minutes, I was like, fudge.
Oh, what were we rocking?
So it was giving me 80s dentist office vibes. So I was like, I feel like I'm either going to see the doctor for my physical or I'm going to sit in a dentist chair. Like that's as good a burn as I could give him. And he, in typical Coach Secor fashion, yeah, well, I put it on random. I play a different genre every day. So this is what today is. Like, that's just his answer. Like, it's zero fun.
Yeah. He's got,
I can actually hear myself. Thank you, audio guy.
He's got no emotional investment at all. He's just like, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah. I almost walked to his house Friday night.
No.
Why? Like, I don't know, because he invited me over and he's like, hey, if you want to be miserable, like, I'll be out on my back deck.
Yeah.
It was like 1 something. And I was like, ooh, do I?
How far of a walk is that?
It's not that far. I mean, just a prairie lane.
That's a couple miles.
No, I'm good. I'm good, boss. I don't want to see me anyway. I think Zoe's bringing it. If you think yeah, that's the beauty about doing very little TV anymore.
You don't see yourself?
No, Austin, do you not know how I try to freeze and mess up the visuals?
The stream constantly. That's why he's not in charge of it anymore.
I constantly try to hijack the stream.
I was just trying to be a good producer.
I mean, if anybody's going to do an interview standing on their head, they clearly don't want people to see them.
Or maybe they really want people to see them.
DB, all I wanted to do is just make you happy.
No,
so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried to do that for you.
I'm glad you didn't bring that other guy with you because he's clearly out.
No, Shane's he's at the bar.
No,
what's up, Shane?
That's my dude. Did you enjoy you were so in between tennis and basketball?
Yeah.
Like, did you get your fix last night?
Yeah, I ended up.
You got your fitness in. You got your love in. You got multiple loves in.
I ended up having to. That's not what he meant, Austin.
Isn't he something? He doesn't skip a beat. It's very seamless with
the groan is just.
Says the guy that's like, is my rig big enough? I need my 35th job to pay off my life.
Doctor, your fiance has expensive taste. Weddings are expensive.
She seemed very simple to me. Maybe she's fooling.
What do you mean by that?
She didn't seem very high maintenance.
Oh.
I mean,
glad you didn't mean like Simple Jack. That would have been a much different conversation.
The sweats, the hoodie, I don't know. Didn't seem very high maintenance.
No,
she got ready in 14 minutes. Like, how bad could it be?
Yeah. She wanted to impress you. That's what it
Don't
was.
ever change that.
Yeah, she wanted to impress you.
He said, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I said, didn't she just get home? It's like, yeah. I was like, no way. It was about 22 minutes.
That's incredible.
I was
honestly.
like, damn, bless her heart.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, and she was at work.
I wait until my wife is 99% done getting ready until I start getting ready. And I am still done before her almost every single time.
Yeah, keep that 14 minutes, Action Jackson.
Which, like, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. No judgment, but I just know how long it takes, and I know I don't have to start until she is done.
It was incredible. I think we
Don't look in here, DB.
I think we pulled in at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man,
I warned you not to look in here.
Hey, Rico.
I could barely see him, but I saw the reflection off his glasses.
Shout out.
Should I pull an Action Jackson? Like, what are you doing here?
It was out of love.
Oh,
it was out of love.
It did not sound very lovey.
Sounded a little snarky.
It sounded like you were infringing on my territory.
I was upset with him because I wanted him to spend time with his family. That's all that I wanted.
I still don't know if I'm vibing with that, but if you say it, it's fine. I'll go with it.
I believe him. I've seen him get aggressively caring before. Like, he cares for someone, but it comes off as like super abrasive.
You're sick. Stay home.
Kind of.
Yeah,
It's like,
I don't really.
I love you.
Yeah, I don't really have another way to frame it, so that's kind of the one way that I can. So
it's more like I don't want your germs.
I think Ravi and I have had this before, where I try to give him a compliment, and he goes, "Okay, so you're just being an asshole still." Okay. I don't really have another way to say this.
It is true. I've tried to clarify before I call names at this point, but it is very difficult to tell the genuine versus the snark.
Yeah,
I call it abrasive affection.
It's got its own category.
That's what Austin has. He'll show you care, but it sounds like he's scolding you for something or making fun of you for something.
I care.
I don't know that.
You
one.
won't know that song. It is 90s R&B. You will.
I was gonna go "I Swear" by All for One, which is also 90s R&B.
It's more in your wheelhouse.
There's one white guy in that band.
In a couple kinds and ambiguous.
There's one I am not comfortable trying to identify.
Yeah, we tried that one day.
Yeah, it was. I had still have no idea.
I think I went 1 for 3.
2 are definitely black.
That's not true.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was. 2 of them are black.
What is the other?
One of them's definitely white, and the fourth one is shrug emoji. I have no idea.
Shoot.
None.
You betcha.
Before we move on too far, I want to say shout out to one of our listeners here, Ron, on his son making the freshman basketball team at Westview. Well done, Ron and his son.
Oh, nice.
He was very excited about it.
They got a heck of a facility.
Yeah, I was.
I guess, do they call them campuses now?
I feel like it's weird to call
very nice place.
a high school campus, but I think that's probably the proper term.
Yeah.
I think of campus as college, like multiple buildings, but it's a nice looking. Isn't it like attached to the YMCA?
Well, community
or it's like
center,
right next to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how. So my elementary school, Montclair, is like that. It's like attached to the pool and gym and everything. It's nice.
The kids went to Saddlebrook, and it's the same way.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
That's how you get. That's how you get fancy digs, and you call it something else.
You like co-op?
Same thing. Papio South did.
You like co-op it?
Yeah,
that's nice.
You get funding for the community center, just happens to be attached to the school.
Oh no! I guess we'll just use it.
Oh no!
Oh no! That happened when we were up here too.
Yeah, shout out K Bizzle.
Oh no!
Oh no! I think I was complaining about the same thing.
You were, yeah, you were.
It's angles, man.
Angles? Yeah. Not a big angles guy.
I mean, I'm not really gonna sit still, so
I don't think it matters.
There's that. I should sit in one of those chairs, and then you can't even see me.
Well, yeah, it'd just be the top of your head, just right here.
Apparently, one of our listeners was mad at Mitch. Did you follow? Were you following along on Twitter?
I did. Yeah, I saw it
calling him Mitchell. What was the hot take he was talking about?
You know,
when people are negative like that, sometimes I don't go back and
I don't either. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't need that in my life.
I was like, once I read Mitchell, I was like, oh, he doesn't probably like him.
Yeah, well, there was the one that I read that I was like, I'm probably not going back to get that was can't wait for Mitchell's bad takes all year, whether spelled like outside, whether it's football or basketball, please retire.
Circle of life.
Listen, if somebody wants to help retire me, like, let's do it.
Can I get a basement like Mitch's?
I know he's got it set up.
So I get what comes with it. There's probably a lot in there I wouldn't partake.
This was the clip that says Penn State did not handle the Oregon loss well. That was a really down time, and Penn State season was on the brink. So it was that clip that he was talking about yesterday. And listen, I didn't really agree with that take either. That's kind of something I wanted to get into today because
Yeah, you had a lot of footnotes. It's not often we have shows where you'll sit on it and want to come back and get it.
I felt like we ran out of time yesterday.
Oh, that was what do we meanie miny somebody else, Mel.
It looks like you just pointed to Shane. I always like to blame Shane, so I think that's what it was.
It's crazy the man who did a handstand is not pointing the finger at himself, but that's fine.
Point the finger, not the thumb.
I used to see out when he first said that I was always do stuff like this, and I would just be really dumb. I was like,
I would just be like, I can point the thumb at you too. There we go. Whose fault is it? Rico and Austin. See, pointing the thumb.
It's probably fair.
maybe that's it.
Or you just do like this.
Don't elevate.
That is the highest I can put those.
Probably was, wasn't it?
No, we're talking about. I got better range of motion than I used to. It's all the tennis. It helps,
Getting there.
getting flexible a little bit.
Saw my man Nick yesterday. He didn't look like he has much range of motion either.
Oh yeah, you went over to next gen.
His trap sits on his trap.
You hung
So
up.
it looks
on me.
like he's permanently shrugging.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. I was just in a hurry.
No, it's okay. I was actually I don't know if you're aware of this. About 98% of the time you say you're going to call me back because you're going in somewhere, you don't call me back, and that's fine.
Didn't I yesterday?
You
though?
did, yeah.
Let's go.
That's why I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting it. That's why I didn't pick up the first time.
I was like, oh, I thought I was bluffing. No, because I think you were in the middle of a good thought, but then I forgot, and I wanted to go see. I had to go check on the staff at Pisons.
Oh
So-
yeah.
Because next gen's right up there, so I came right down the hill and saw Footy and those guys.
How they doing?
Good, man. They're hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Restaurant business is tough.
But I mean, thank the Lord, there are a ton of people in there. A lot of the usuals.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to stop in. They do a good job of updating people on their hours on their Facebook page. So
Yeah, and once, I'll always try to stop in there just for whatever,
Mhm.
and then I'll take a picture of the hours and then I'll tweet
it out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's super helpful. So I just gotta find a time when their hours line up with my availability. Because last night I was pretty busy.
So I wanted to call you back and see. I mean, you had a ton of hot takes, and when I tell you I'm willing to listen
Mhm.
to different vantage points to see what I can glean, I'm interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, there's a lot going on, right? And it's not just nothing either.
Yeah, I mean, so there was there's the Penn State stuff that I've sort of been on all week, and that I don't honestly, part of it's frustrating for me because I don't understand how other people are processing this. Right? Like I'm having a hard time seeing
You want me to quantify it?
Please, yeah.
I think they just think Penn State's better than Nebraska, and that's okay because they might be.
That's fine.
But I think that's what it is. They're just not saying that to you out loud.
And that's fine. I think the problem I'm having is the results on the field do not indicate that.
No, I get it.
Like when people are dismissive, it's not one common opponent game. It's half their Big Ten schedule, right? This is at a point where the data points start to seem to matter. I understand the transitive property is not a real thing in sports or in life. I also understand at a certain point, the data points would lead you to a conclusion. I feel like we're getting pretty close to that with the common opponents with Penn State. I also feel like we're doing the same thing to Penn State that we tried to explain away the losses at Nebraska, and at some point the losses are just losses. Like they just are.
Yeah.
This isn't a 3-loss team where you can look at it and be like, oh man, you had one walk, like the Indiana game with that walk-off touchdown with the toe tap and the foot hover, and Mendoza throwing a ball while he's getting hammered. Like, okay, if you've got 3 losses, you can kind of give that well, yeah, that one they probably shouldn't have lost that one. And, it was a super emotional loss to Oregon as well. Like if you've got 2 or 3 losses, I'll hear you explaining things away. But 6 losses, including 2 to teams that Nebraska has already beaten, I'm just having a really hard time sitting there. And listen, the Iowa thing kind of making me mad too, because Iowa 6-4.
Do you think people are just afraid to say that Penn State's better?
I think people are just afraid to say that Nebraska should win this game.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Well, I mean, that's not uncommon.
It's not, but it's most of the time.
Especially historically when Nebraska doesn't win these kind of games.
I don't know that we have this type of game.
A team that's supposed to be. Oh, okay. Let me just get this then.
Yes.
So a team was
supposed to be good,
that hasn't played well, that we think is super talented,
that we're still scared of, terrified
and we're
of.
still okay.
We haven't
So
really
all
had that before.
No,
we've had teams that like, you go to like when Michigan.
Even when we lost to Michigan State and East Lansing, that wasn't a good Michigan State team.
No, it was just like, what are we doing? How did this happen? Or like Minnesota, that wasn't like that. Minnesota record is going to be fine, but we're not like we don't look at Minnesota the way we like. Minnesota wasn't the boogeyman going into that game.
Oh,
that's the weird thing about this game is like they were supposed to.
I mean, kind of
only because of not because of who they are, because of how Nebraska's been against them.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Penn State's the boogeyman. It seems like the boogeyman because of who we think they are.
Mm.
That's I would actually argue that Minnesota's almost the exact opposite team of Penn State.
You know what would be super interesting is if you're right, because I mean this would be the worst victory lap ever.
I mean, and like I am acknowledging. I don't want it to seem like I don't think Penn State can beat Nebraska because that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is
you don't like the PP tucking so early.
Yeah, and Nebraska should feel like they should win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska should.
Oh, I think they do.
I think fans should as well. I think that's the disconnect. I think the team probably does think they can go in and win this game and should go in and win this game.
But I've asked this for like a year, and maybe it hasn't happened yet. Who does Nebraska have to beat before we stop doing this?
See, I don't know. Because it's not going to be this team.
Because I know what's going to happen is if Nebraska wins, it's going to be like, well,
they were 4-6.
Yeah.
They're going to go back to the thing that I've been saying about
the same thing that I got mad about at UCLA. Like we were terrified of UCLA and we're afraid to say that Nebraska was going to win. And then we said, well, it's just UCLA.
Yeah.
Right.
We were terrified of them because they had played well and
Thanks,
they'd won a bunch of games and they seemed to start scoring points. And then, but you don't get credit. You don't get credit for winning it, but we were afraid of them the whole time. So both of those things can't be true, but that's exactly what, if Nebraska goes out to Penn State and beats Penn State, it'll be like, oh, well, that's the worst Penn State team in years.
Wouldn't that be a great problem to have? Go out there and win.
Because terrific problem to have.
Because like I said, if they won this game, you better look out.
Yeah.
You better look out.
So that's one of the things
that short week, that game wouldn't be able to come fast enough.
Yeah, they just want to go.
They'd want to go.
They'd want to play on Sunday.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot in there, and I get it. I just was trying to figure out like why that it's stuck in you. There are a couple things I'm sure you'll get to them. You'll knock them all out, but
yeah, that's one that's been bothering me all week because part of it is too. I didn't see that coming. What I thought was going to happen with this game is Nebraska fans would look at Penn State, say, "Hey, this is a team we should beat. This isn't the team that This isn't even, I mean, they don't have their starting quarterback. Their head coach got fired and is now officially hired at a different school already. And we're sitting here, their interim coach is not going to be the head coach next year. Like that is, I will guarantee that. And so what on earth do they have to play for? Do you think they actually care about making a bowl game that much? None of these guys will even play in that bowl game. None of them.
That's a good point.
You know, so like, I don't understand. Oh, they're still playing for, are they? Because I can't imagine a single player of consequence actually playing in that bowl game if they make it. So I don't know what they're supposed to be playing for at this point. And as we talked to, I think it was Mark Wogenrich, a lot of their defenders from the start of the season have been banged up that we thought was a really good defense. So they're missing a bunch of guys on that side of the ball. Obviously, they're missing Drew Aller. So we're basically scared of Katron Allen. I mean, that's what's left at this point.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but we've had a really hard time stopping running. Our coaches keep reminding us of that.
We've had a really hard time stopping unscripted QB runs. I would like to get more specific than we're bad at stopping the run. We've been, for the most part, especially after Michigan, not that bad at stopping just traditional run game. Fair or foul?
That's fair.
Right. And
that's really fair.
I would actually even argue that for the most part against Michigan, outside of the 3 explosive runs, which I know they count, but on a down to down basis, I don't even think they were that bad against Michigan. But we don't want to have that. We don't want to get into the details. We don't want to have that conversation. We say, oh, we're bad against the run. They're bad against unscripted QB run.
Yeah.
That's what they're bad at. Guess who's not Nico Iamaleava? Ethan Grunkmeyer. Guess who's not Brendan Sorsby? Ethan Grunkmeyer. I get that they tried to run with him a little bit more. Most of those were not designed. A lot of those were scrambles, and he has, for the season, 26 carries for negative 26 yards. That's probably not that good. This is why I do not understand the boogeyman of it all with Penn State this week. If it's just the helmets, just tell me that. If it's just Happy Valley at night, just tell me that. But guess what? I don't think Happy Valley at night's going to be what it looked like 2 weeks ago, because you can get tickets for $7. I looked up yesterday. That's no. You can get in the stadium for $7. And I just gave me the little snarky comeback. Well, there's a lot of seats in that stadium. You know how hard it is to find 6 seats? I went to the max number you can do on the secondary website. You can get 6 seats together all over the stadium. It doesn't seem like anybody wants to go to this game. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe some Penn State fans will be like, oh, I could go for $7 and come out that never. But it doesn't seem like anybody in Pennsylvania wants to go to this game.
I hope you're right.
I hope I am too. And again, that's all not to say Nebraska has to show up and play and win. I'm not saying Nebraska's going to blow out Penn State. What I'm saying is the conversation around it, the line, none of it makes any sense to me. I just cannot wrap my mind around the way people are processing this game.
Hold that thought. We'll get back to it.
It's driving me a little crazy. Coming up on the show today, we've got Michael Rose-Ivey. He will be with us at 8 o'clock, assuming we can get him a link. We will also talk to Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider. He is from Major Wager. We'll see if we can get a little gambling advice. Michael Brunt from Husker 24/7 will join us at 9 o'clock, as he always does. And then we'll have one Jacob Padilla joining us at the end of the show to talk a little Creighton, a little hoops.
The Jays. That was my man, Scotty. Scotty drove a taxi.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that
or a cab? I'm not. I think they're
Scotty like T. Scott Marr?
No, like Scotty, like the dude that said Jays.
I don't remember him.
He's a Creighton fan. Old long.
Oh, I thought you were doing like a call.
No.
Yeah. No. I listen. There's not a lot of cab drivers left out there.
I know. They're like
they got eaten up by Uber.
And what's the silver company?
Oh, Metroflex.
No, Metro. No. What am I thinking of? The cars are marked. They all have the same logo. They're silver.
Yeah, I know.
It's not Metroflex.
That's one of them in Omaha, but I don't.
If you said it, I would know.
We'll see if we can figure it out. Maybe
between the four of us.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to.
Three and a half.
Three. Who's the half?
Well, Rico's a quarter and Shane's a quarter.
Wait, what? How did Shane get to be a quarter?
Me, you, and Austin.
Oh, you just mean height. Okay. Yeah. That's the lineup for today. We're gonna Google car services here and see if we can figure out who is who. In the meantime, let's take a break in the first hour, like adults, like we know how to run a show.
It's peer pressure with the steering.
I know. I feel like they're making me uncomfortable. We will come back, and I do want to jump back into some of the Dayton Raiola of it all here, as I've thought about this a lot last night. DB
Z-Trip, thank you.
Z-Trip,
Bruin Steve,
thank you.
They're off to a good start too. Is he tickled?
Probably. I mean, winning's fun. Z-Trip, that's a good call.
Yeah,
that was gonna drive me crazy. Yeah, we'll get into the Dayton Raiola of it all. I had a lot of time to think last night, DB.
Oh Lord,
that could be dangerous. But I've come up with some, I'll call them plausible scenarios.
I thought it was. I liked real time thinking yesterday, and I was already strained. My brain was.
I know.
Fried.
I'm gonna make you think some more real time today.
Can't wait.
We'll see what happens. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
I mean, following Gonzaga, Coach Mack kind of came up to me and was like, what do you think about this season? What do you really want to plan on? And put me on the blue squad a lot, got to play with those guys, and then went down with a stomach bug for a while, which wasn't very fun. But then coming back after that, just playing with those guys, and ultimately I felt like yesterday it was the right thing to do and for my process to get better and better. Oh, it was awesome. I mean, obviously I didn't shoot the ball like all of us did today, but other than that, I feel like my calling card is just playing extremely hard. I feel like I just try to do that every day. Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but obviously they'll be cheering for a little something different in these games than me just checking in, so just for the whole team.
successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
My opinion can't really change from what I've stood up here and said, right? So I've been tooting that horn for a while. The one thing that I didn't know is if he could handle 30 touches a game. I don't think any of us knew that. And we were concerned with the number of snaps and the number of touches early. We had that conversation with game 1 too much and then game 4 too much. Well, is it? Because that's, it doesn't look like it is to me. I mean, the dude just keeps getting stronger, and whatever, we need to do to get the ball to him. One, we're going to do that, but two, he can handle that, and so it's pretty cool to see a young man that's worked so hard that is getting the credit that he deserves. I mean, just look at the numbers. The numbers are as good as anybody in the country, and what I see is a motivated guy that practices hard and has a great attitude. Had a great practice out there today and is looking forward for another opportunity to go play the game he loves. And so, just really proud of him and where he's at and what he's doing.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's TBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat HQ. We've got Rico and Austin in the house. Apparently, some people think we're inside of a golf ball.
It does give me golf ball dimple vibes.
It kind of.
I've heard a lot of things. Somebody said yesterday, are we in a spaceship?
Yep. We got a couple padded rooms.
The moon, the padded rooms, and now a golf ball.
It is giving some golf ball vibes.
Now this guy swings it, so I get his golf analogy.
Is he a big golfer?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Got a lot of free time.
He's still working.
Is that what you call it? Let him tell it.
I don't know. He might not be. I have no idea.
Guy's on huddle more than me.
What's he doing on there?
I don't know. Helping.
Just trying to help out.
Yeah. It's a bug. It's an itch. Got to scratch it.
No, I think it's Scott said he thought we were inside the International Space Station.
A lot of it is for acoustics, correct?
It is all.
Is this acoustics or aesthetics?
I think it's aesthetic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
If it was
interesting.
acoustic, I think it would be a different like fabric, so it would trap the sound in. But
Mm.
It's acoustically aesthetic.
ooh,
What about aesthetically acoustic?
No, that's impossible.
come on, don't be
okay.
ridiculous.
Sorry.
What are you, a crazy person?
My
Oh,
bad.
Man, the two of them together. One is fine.
Yeah, I know it's a lot.
The
That's probably
the pinging and ponging is too much.
probably how people feel about us.
Which one's ping and which one's pong?
That's a great question.
Yeah, you guys can sort it out.
DB, I think you're more of a pong guy.
Yeah, pong.
Yeah, I think you're.
I
a
think
pong.
calling Ravi ping seems a little on the nose.
I didn't say that.
I was gonna make a joke.
It's different though.
There's not a lot of
Isn't that what Mulan calls herself in the movie?
different part of Asia, Rico.
Oh, my bad.
Different part of the continent.
Make a man out of you.
Damon, what's the thing you say? 1, 10.
It just said Mulan.
Isn't it bad when like I overcome my joke Tourette's and Rico's just like, here we come.
Mulan though. That's
Deep cut.
I just wanted to get back to the running game that I was talking about here because your boy
ooh.
Lance was like, you don't get to 90th in the country in rushing with only QB run game hurting you. So let me ask you this, just anecdotally. I genuinely don't have this number. On average, how many QB run yards do you think Nebraska's giving up a game?
On average.
Yeah, just ballpark it. Because they're not getting a ton of sacks either, so you're not going to get the negative number.
Oh, it's not a ton. I don't think
I'm curious what you think
per game.
Yeah.
35.
Oh, that's a terrific number. I'm glad you picked that. We actually didn't plan that at all.
Where
so,
are you going with this?
You know how many? You know where Nebraska would be if you took away 35 rush yards a game?
Where?
About 40th. So yeah, that is how you get to 90th in the country, Lance. You give up 35 QB rush yards a game.
This dude's been around me too long.
Like he asked, like you don't get to no, that's exactly how you get to 90th. You give up 4 more scrambles a game, you get to 90th. Boom, you're done.
Mm.
So yeah, 130 versus 165. That's the difference between 90th and 40th.
All
And
right.
guess what? The teams that are 40th probably giving up more than like 130-yard passing a game. If I had to guess. If you want me to look it up, I can, but I'm going to go out on a limb since Nebraska's like 3rd in the country in passing yards per game, that almost everybody else is behind them because that's how lists work. That's all. That's all I had on the rushing game.
It's
Rush
fine.
defense.
It's fine.
You all right?
I'm still stuck on Mulan. I really am. And then I get the wands of the world, and here comes everybody. Here we go. I mean, it's out of control.
I guess we're just doing this. Juan said, Ravi, someone told me to try lassi. What is a good spot to get that from? There's a pretty good mango lassi at Piercy's Biryani at 120th and Blondo.
Astoria has one right up the street.
I haven't been there.
It's mango.
Yeah, most of them are, but they make some, but most of the time it's going to be mango lassi.
My man Dago in the O just did a food stop there.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Got the chicken lollipops. I think he got chicken 65. And what else did he try?
I usually go paneer when I'm at Indian restaurants.
Yeah, I did not.
Well, you're big meat.
I
guy,
didn't. I
know?
passed. Everybody wanted Indian yesterday. I got it. I ate a burrito, breakfast burrito.
I'm good.
Yep.
Did you make it or did you get it somewhere?
I got it from somewhere.
Okay.
I didn't finish it either. I think Mike is having it for lunch.
Oh, I
today.
meant the Indian.
Oh, right up the street.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there. There's it's hard to want to go out and spend money at Indian restaurants when I'm just like, hey Dad, can you make me this? And it's better. So
Not like an all day thing.
no, he's pretty efficient. If you're cooking so most of the time when it's an all day thing, it's because they cook way too much food.
Yeah.
That's that's just an Indian. I mean, I think it's a lot of cultures, but they just overcook the food. Like they just like, hey, here's 18 different dishes for 30 people. It's like, Dad, this is just dinner for the 4 of us. We're fine.
Eric says Ping is very snarky today. What is I need to see. Now I have to. You guys see, you got the chat started. I don't need glasses for what's his buckets because all he does is type in caps, but that's typically just stats. But let's go to see what Josh says.
He said 5 tailbacks have gone for 7.5 plus. Come on.
What's he say? Like, what's that mean?
I think 7.5 yards per carry.
No.
Oh, you mean something else?
No bleep. I'm saying, what's the point? Like, what's this pertaining to?
I don't. I'm guessing he's trying to tell me that they are bad at running back, run defense because 5 guys have gone for 7.5.
Oh, but is that what you're saying? That's not what you're saying, is it?
No, what I'm saying is they're not. I don't think they're as bad at run defense as we think they are. And B, if you have a quarterback that you are not afraid of in any way whatsoever, probably going to be okay.
Helps you with the run game?
Helps you with the run game. Especially, I would be interested, Josh, to see, because I don't know what 5 those are off the top of my head. I know at least one of them is Justice Haynes, I believe, and one of them is the Northwestern back. But famously, Nebraska did win that Northwestern game. I don't know if you recall. But I would also be interested to see how many of those of those running backs that went for 7.5 had mobile quarterbacks as well.
Yeah, extremely negative, Mike. I'm not on anybody's side here, Ravi, or the statisticians, but I will tell you don't just stop the run game with D-line. So it gives off certain aptitude vibes when you say against this D-line because you don't stop the run game with just the D-line. So maybe you're just saying that, but it's way more than just the D-line.
I don't know extremely negative, Mike, personally. I do think that's a very common misconception with the fan base about why they're perceived as not efficient against the run game. Most people will blame it on the D-line. I agree that it starts with the D-line, but there's a lot that has to happen.
Who stops the run game with 4?
No one. That doesn't exist.
So when we go to oh, no. Okay. So I get it. Like maybe you didn't mean just I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire. Negative, Mike. I'm not super negative. But you know when they count numbers in the box to run the ball or throw it, what's the number they get to when they want to run it?
Anything 6 or less.
Okay. So that's more than just the D-line. 7, you're probably running it. That's more than just the D-line.
If you're like 7's the breaking point, right? Like some guys will run it, some guys will pass it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
you usually like offensive and defensive guys will tell you you'd like to stop the run with 7 minimum. You may need 8.
Yeah.
It's certainly more than 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Which means it's more than the D-line.
Yeah.
If you want to get technical about it.
Well, I think it matters in our perception because, people can make you dumber when they spread narratives that without really understanding what's going on.
Yeah, how it works.
Yeah, so, a lot of times it could be 1 D lineman that's not doing his job. It could be 2 linebackers that aren't doing their job.
I would say you could have all...
Stopping the run is a collective thing.
Yeah, you could have all 4 or however many defensive linemen you put hands in dirt, and they could all be doing a great job. They're probably not the ones making the tackle.
Yeah.
More often than not.
Yeah. That's why D linemen typically don't lead your team in tackles.
Right. So at the very least, you're talking about needing a couple linebackers minimum, or a linebacker and a run fitting safety.
Are you surprised that Allen has distanced himself so far from Singleton?
I think I always thought Allen was better.
Did you?
I think so.
Neither. I don't. That's fine.
But I do think the coaching change had something to do with the separation. Like I think the current staff, Terry Smith and company, I think they have made a decision that they like Kaytron Allen more.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly playing better. I tried to watch the first. I've only 3 and a half. What I call full games. Penn State the offense looks a lot like, and I've said this before, it looks a lot like it did against FIU, like it did against Michigan State, to me, schematically. So I think for Nebraska, there's plenty of tape that doesn't have to be Grunkemeyer specific. I think Penn State just does what they do.
Yeah.
Right. And Smith said, listen, these 2 guys are going to touch the ball 40 times.
Yeah.
So figure that out. figure that out. I don't know if it's game plan Iowa last year where you getting like those bare and tight fronts and, you man up across the board and you say, run it at us. Because that philosophy can work when you're going to be stout at the point of attack. You may have to commit more bodies.
Yeah, I think they should.
But, I mean, but that's not really going to be the key, in my opinion. The key is going to be tackling.
Yeah.
You have got to get those guys down to the ground. So depending on what I would look at, for me to get a good indication is clean holes, opening up holes versus these backs breaking tackles when guys get to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because Nebraska hasn't, excuse me, they've had a couple of the gaping hole runs.
Yeah.
But for the most part, a lot of it is getting a guy to the ground on the initial point of contact.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then having another guy that's ready to clean it up, because you don't get a lot of solo tackles in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
You get typically,
unless you're in Michigan.
So, in Nebraska threw the ball 40 times though.
Yeah,
they were getting the outside guys
yeah.
down to the ground.
Yeah.
And safeties were making tackles on running backs in the open field.
Yeah.
So that you can't have happen.
I think the thing for me too, especially with tackling, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but for me, the thing that's frustrating about the tackling is it seems like they tackle poorly because they're late on run fits. So
I think yes and no. I don't know, but there's the obvious lates, but for me, it's more trust, right? If I'm gonna vice a guy, I want inside outside point of attack. Like my fits need to be correct, right? I want inside. I want an outside guy, and I want a direct fit guy. So I think for Nebraska, the big thing is leveraging the ball and not the block. So if I'm an edge setter, I want my outside arm free. If I'm an alley runner, I want to split the difference. If I'm inside out pursuit, I want to become an inside out. So it's just in this day and age where you're so spread out and playing with 6 and 7 in the box, because most teams use it's 11 personnel. It's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you mainly will see 7 in the box. You'll have an adjuster. He'll move in and out. You can call it 6. You can call it 7. But 11 personnel is extremely popular. 12 is now making another comeback.
Yeah.
Well, you look at the team like the Rams. They're going to make 12 and 13 very popular.
Yeah.
And a lot of these teams now have multiple good tight ends.
Yeah.
And so you can dictate numbers in the box. But for me in stop and run at Nebraska, it's getting multiple helmets to the ball. And that comes from trust, in my opinion.
Trusting your people in front of you are going to do their job.
Yeah. Listen,
trusting your eyes.
If this is going to be a box deal, then I'm going to alley run. If this is going to be a spill deal, then I'm going to crease this. Like, it just, you need plenty of whiteboard around here, right? But
yeah.
I think it is a trust. It's not just my 4 guys are going to beat your 5 offensive linemen. Like linemen know that too. Linemen love to see 6, even 7 in the box. And we think we're just going to stop run with D-line.
How much of the D-line is, because I hear, especially with the defensive linemen are undersized, whatever. I hear the term like plug the holes a lot. How much of it is plugging the holes versus occupying the blockers?
I don't know what that means, but I do know. What does plug the hole mean?
So
it means
kind of what I was asking.
I don't really know, but
that's not really how you draw it up as a defensive coordinator, right?
No, but again, it's little, right? If I'm a B gap player and I'm in B gap, I want my ass in B gap. I don't want to play peekaboo and have my head in B gap because I can get washed, guys can climb, you can get double. So I want my bunda in B gap. I don't want to play peekaboo and have my head in B gap. If I'm a C gap run fitter, I want my rear end in C gap.
Right. Like you want to be squared up in C gap. You're not
and I want my head on the right side. Now we act like that's not that big of a deal, but if you think that's not that big of a deal, you're probably the person that thinks you just stop running with D line, right?
Yeah.
You don't. So, anytime I can get a guy or coordinators can get one guy to occupy 2 gaps, that's ideal because then you can start the +1 teams. That's why Sue was so good at what he did. That's what made 6-year Ty so good at what he did. I mean, he's going to command a double, and you can't really get off.
Yeah.
Right? Because what you want to do,
can't get to second level.
ideally in duo, right? It's like you're working in pairs and you're trying to climb the second level after you secure first. If you can't get to second level, then that's when you get free second level guys. And then
that's when you get
third level guys
ball.
can fit off of that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're playing peekaboo or you're uncertain or you don't trust the hit it, split it, or clear cloudy, then you play on your heels. When you play on your heels, you make contact at 2 yards and you look up and it's 2nd and 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you stop the run.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that's the Cliff Notes, fast tutorial.
Yeah, I think that's why the D-line conversation is a little frustrating to me. I think the running defense conversation is a little frustrating to me in general.
I'm telling you, the key to look, it's not going to be like gaping holes. It's leaky. It's
Yes.
yards after contact. It's falling forward. That's what Katron Allen is really good for. Penn State is cool getting in 2nd and 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a big difference between 2nd and 6 and 2nd and 8.
I think for
this offense.
For me, I think this, obviously Grunkmeyer doesn't have the legs of Bryce Underwood, but this is, again, I'd like to see the game plan that I wanted to see against Michigan, where it's like, yeah, you make Ethan beat you with his arm. Like, load up, make Ethan beat you with his arm.
Yeah.
Like, don't let Katron Allen beat you. Don't let Nick Singleton beat you. Make Ethan Grunkmeyer beat you with his arm. The same way I wanted him to make Bryce Underwood beat him with his arm, because it's not something I thought they could do consistently.
It's interesting listening to some of the Penn State media yesterday. They said that Grunkmeyer just isn't seeing it yet. So there'll be these times that he kind of pulls it down or he eats it or he throws it away. Nebraska needs, I think the best way for them to affect him on Saturday is pre-snap.
So he gets confused on what he's looking at.
I think the whole pre-snap.
Yeah.
So it's like that will give you a chance.
Let's take a quick break here. We're going to talk to Michael Rose-Ivey coming up here in just a minute. We'll get more into this matchup with Penn State, see what his thoughts are on Nebraska stopping the run game and what they can do against that Penn State defense as well with TJ Lateef and what he saw from TJ in his start against UCLA. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, it's super cool. I think my teammates were just getting me the ball in the right places, trusting me. But I think overall it's just a great game for us to be able to go out there and play more of like 4 complete quarters. And I think we played with great pace today. Yeah, we talked about that at halftime, just coming out strong. Claire told us the stat, like our third quarter hasn't been like the best scoring wise or whatever. So we tried to come out punching, and I think we did that. So it was good.
I think it's just important to just keep our momentum rolling. We're undefeated so far, and so just for this momentum to keep us rolling into a experience that we haven't faced yet. There's 2 back-to-back games in a row, and just trying to keep this, kind of what Britt said, these 4 complete quarters and what we learned from today and the past week into next week.
What I see, a guy has a big, strong arm. When you look at the last couple games, and really specifically the Indiana game, Indiana is a very good defense, as you guys know, that does a good job stopping the run and the pass. And he's ripping 25-yard in cuts, and he's ripping sail routes on the sideline. So he, when the coverage is what he thinks it is, he can make the throws, and he steps up in the pocket, and he's making those intermediate throws that I think I talked about a couple weeks ago. That's really the challenge for a quarterback, is you can throw it short, you can throw it deep. But if you can make those intermediate throws, and he's doing that. And then if you look at the Michigan State game, having the savvy and the competitiveness in critical situations on those last two drives of running the ball and extending the drives and, making the winning plays. So, that combined with their run game and their physicality, I think we've got to be prepared for.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. We're presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That is, we're here at Hurrdat Sports headquarters, I guess, not bar and grill, as you can tell. And we are joined now by our guy, Michael Rose-Ivey, former Husker. MRI, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
I'm good. I don't know what the confusion was in getting in contact with you. Was I panicking and you had it under control the whole time?
Yeah, you were panicking a little bit. Sorry, DB.
I just did what I was told, to be honest.
Just call a timeout. Let's come over to the sideline and talk about it.
Careful in those timeouts, MRI.
That's true.
I tried to take a page out of your book. You tell me at least once a week, be better, do what I'm told. And I did what the brain trust told me, and lo and behold, you had it. Look, their thumbs up. Like,
it's all good.
Do what I tell you.
Hey, thank you, Shane, for the proper link this morning.
Wow.
Damon, thank you for helping.
No, you guys. No. You got me sent to the timeout kids corner. I just wanted to make sure, MRI.
It's like the 15th guy on the bench that cuts down that last little piece of the net. It's not much. It's not much there. But it's something to put in the man cave.
Still part of the team.
Oh.
Still part of the team. Still part of the team.
All right, I must be easy target. We're talking. I don't know how we morphed into this fast, but apparently we're playing a team that runs the football pretty well, and the coaches have talked a ton about stopping the run. Ravi, of course, gets very particular about QB run game, like most do. We're dicing through it. When you look at Penn State's run scheme, what do you see?
It's a lot. I mean, let's not even start at the actual run concepts. The formations Nebraska will be unorthodox. I think it's Andy Kolecki is the offensive coordinator. Kolecki, yeah. And he was here at Kansas for a while, so you got to watch his offense kind of take shape. I've watched a couple of his clinics too. He is all about creating confusion any way possible for a defense, whether it's with alignment, with the plays they run off of those alignments, the shifts and stunts. So just even starting there, and it's kind of similar for me this week. So we're playing kind of a single wing team, and they move the tackles all over. They line them up over. So I'm drawing all the running cards this week, DB, and I have a headache. I got a good friend on the team we're facing. I texted him. I was like, "Hey, bro, what's up with all this, man? I'm spending 10 minutes on each card, you know? So it's gonna be it's similar process on
I
GAs
got a
too.
former head coach. He would say, he would tell us, he'd say, listen, we're going to see 28 formations. I was like, wait, that's called the H theory. Whatever is in you when you get squeezed, young Action Jackson is who you are. And that is not a very nice person. That's true. That's 100% true. You're not a nice person. So are you one of those guys? Because I think it's like this with Penn State, where you say, okay, what do they end up being in? Is it 2x2? Is it 3x1? Is it condensed? Do you bottom line it, or do you count each shift and formational movement as something different?
I think you have to categorize it. I think if you look at it, and I've looked just back to Indiana and Michigan State as far as my look at them. There are some tells in some of those shifts, kind of what they want to get to. Why are they putting 4-man to one surface to start with, and reducing it to 3? Running types of counters and things like that. So I think there's some merit to digging deeper into those shifts and categorizing. But at the end of the day, you can't lose sleep on saying, hey, we didn't see every single shift from the 4-week breakdown, 4-game breakdown. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to find the plays. Maybe what's the big hitters, the ones they hit big on that they're going to be looking to set up other plays off of. So I think you have to find the balance of making sure you cover maybe the rules of the shift. Hey, we're not worried about what the shift is called, but if there's 2 or 3 offensive linemen extended out of the formation, this is how we will always line up. And that's more so what you've done. You're going to probably get to the base of base defenses in that situation, almost like playing a swinging gate. I remember playing Oregon. I mean, we played with Oregon that year at Memorial, and we probably spent more time on that swinging gate and all the formation sets they do out of that and what they can do than probably a good amount of anything. Maybe it's close to our defensive scout game plan was. So very similar. But you have to find that right balance of let's not overload the guys with what's the name of this shift or what we're going to call it. But hey, this is our rules to this surface, this guy extended out, et cetera.
MRI, how about on the other side of the ball, speaking of formations and I guess kind of alignment in general? Because John Butler said something interesting this week about how he thinks Penn State's quarterback, Ethan Runkmeyer, can make the throws when he knows what the coverage is. That kind of indicates to me he wants to sow a little confusion into the young quarterback's mind. Right. If you're in Nebraska, you know what Penn State's run game is. You know that Runkmeyer has struggled in certain instances trying to throw the ball. What are you trying to show him to make sure he doesn't know what the coverage is?
Working with that, 2-to-1 high shell, especially for Nebraska, they play a lot of cover 1 and cover 2, so it kind of works hand in hand. We've seen them do some things that are disguised in one of those coverages, but then going to the other one and vice versa. So that would be the first thing. I think when you look at a young quarterback, you look at interceptions and sacks, right? He's had, I think, 9 sacks in the 4 games that he's started. He's been sacked 9 times. So obviously him holding on to the ball, maybe not seeing the coverage fully or getting the indicators on what the coverage might be, and then holding on the ball too long, but then also throwing the ball into some areas where defenders have a chance to make a play on it. So I think there's a little bit of both, right? You have to find a way to build pressure packages, rush packages that are going to get to them, but also ways you can still protect yourself on the back end, because Penn State does still have some pretty decent receivers that can make plays if you leave them in open space. And again, Grunkenmeyer has been able to, like Butler was saying in the clip you guys played before us, I believe, he's able to throw those intermediate passes, but more time, those things are on time when he feels, he looks comfortable that he knows the coverage and how everything's going to play out. So a mixture of rush packages are going to get to him. Penn State's O-line's given up, quite a bit of sacks, even with both quarterbacks playing. And then also, on the back end, trying to disguise things, going from that 1 to 2 high shell and doing it, in sync and synchronization with the front 7, right? How we're rushing and how we're putting pieces at the line of scrimmage has to somewhat dictate how we're rolling and rotating on the back end. So, putting together a plan like that is going to be important for Nebraska defense.
I'm watching the Buffalo Bills, the Rams, the Steelers of the world. These multi-tight end personnel packages, right? 12, 13. It's a headache for you when you watch any version of 2-back run game. I'm not even talking about when you have 2 natural backs in the backfield. I'm talking about H shifts or, Jack and Jill formation, stuff like that. What gives you the most headaches when you're trying to defend run game from a personnel standpoint?
I think when we're talking about two backs, I think when there's variation of what that offset back or that I would say maybe primary blocking back is, what he's doing. If you use him in a various techniques, like even just, ways of going back across. We've seen against Nebraska where, the tight end who's offline, off the ball, may go out and kick out the end, or he may bluff the end and go around him, right? Also using him on the front side, right? Using him for RPO screens or things to the flat. I think that's what kind of gives you the most fits, is when that guy can fit in multiple gaps, right? He's not just a go across and kick the end out guy, or he's not just he's front side. He's going to be helping with the tackle to climb to the backer. I think that's when those two back-esque type formations give defenses problems, because we're getting our fit post snap, right? Instead of it being declared in single back, right? And we talked in nuance of this, right? But being in single back, the fit's already declared more times not, especially if it's offset. Right now, if we're going pistol, then there becomes again a
two-way go.
A two-way go, right? A two-way go, and now the defense has to be more reactive and less aggressive per se in their fits, depending on what they're doing up front and getting on to that. But yeah, I think that's gonna be important.
So when you're looking at, and it's not even so much the difference between Allen and the two backs, because Allen is he's clearly demonstrated to them he's gonna be the guy. What gives you the biggest pause when Nebraska has to stop the run, given how Penn State likes to run it, versus stopping the run, given how, let's say, Michigan? No, I won't even use SC because I think they're the most different. Let's go Michigan stopping the run versus Penn State stopping the run. What gives you the most fits about these backs?
I think they're both dynamic in the sense that they can. I mean, I can't say I don't think about. I mean, I think you go look at the result of the Michigan game. I mean, you say Marshall and obviously Haynes are both dynamic. Haynes, he was on a spree of long big touchdown runs coming into that game, and you kind of see it from these two guys a little bit too. So I would say there's the same level of concern, to be honest. I think looking at the splits from for Allen in the past, I think 3 games. He faced Ohio State and Indiana, two really, really good defenses, and struggled there. But he did have a 145 yards against a pretty good work. We think is a pretty good Iowa defense as well. So he's very good. He's done it against multiple teams throughout the Big Ten, and obviously coming into the season, everyone thought Singleton was kind of the next guy, right? And Allen kind of takes over the reins as kind of the #1 back. So I think it's the same level of concern. I think, especially coming off of the previous week, and just obviously the quarterback designed to run, but just again the formations they get into, having what we understand is a lighter defensive line. We have a team that's adding 6, 7 offensive linemen to these sets, but still spreading you out in weird ways with the backfield and the receivers. I'm just very interested to see how does Butler go with the plan that we're going to divide the back? We're going to take the back end and split it from the front end. How we're going to fit up front is going to be different with how we would maybe normally have our shell. And I think that's kind of what you have to at least have either in your back pocket or go into the game with that mindset that we can't allow how they split us to determine how we fit the front, how we fit the run.
Okay.
And it's going to be important with those two backs to keep those guys contained. So I think it's about this. So for me, going into and just seeing what we saw, just knowing we know about our defense, I think it's the same level of concern.
Okay, so I want to stay with like the kind of the surface, front side, back side. If you wanted to attack Nebraska, no. If how Nebraska wants to fit in the run game using the back end, are they going to be more susceptible or vulnerable to outside zone, inside zone, pin, pull, gap? Like, what gives you pause when you obviously counter was
Right.
killing that's tough because then you get into the box spilling on the fly.
Mhm.
What concept do you think would give this defense the most problems?
Anything that's going to I say counter, but also you can do inside zone split, but anything where you go back to talk about that offset back or tight end or fullback, however you want to categorize him, anything where he's going back, to the backside and it's forcing you to make a decision. You're going to spill or you're going to force it, right? Or you're going to box it, right? So I think any type of concept that involves that decision being made for Nebraska, I think it's just, as we've seen it, it's been something they've just struggled with. And I would say even still with the inside zone is making and maintaining or mid zone maintaining, gap integrity on the inside. I think that's another thing there. So it's kind of playing ping pong off each other, right? Because you're getting different blocking schemes in those concepts, right? But they're attacking primarily what B and C gap, so you're getting the same lanes and same rush pass by those backs where you're creating an overrun to the front side and cutting the backside, or we're not getting the gap integrity to the front side, and now we're getting hit front sides.
If you're, man, maybe it depends on the age level or maybe it's even talent level. Sometimes we'll give spill calls on the fly. We don't love to. We try to have rules like the 2-back nub sets and stuff like declared. But you get the better teams, it gets a little more nuance. Do you like clean declaration of we have to spill this, we have to box it, or should you be able to on the fly, given the type of block, decide on the fly?
I think it depends on what type of linebackers you have.
Okay.
If you have guys that are experienced enough to understand run flow along with the blocking flow and being able to fill both as they fit their gap, which is not, I say that like it's just shuffle stack, rock back. Come on, let's like it's I'm not I say that as it's easy, but that is a hard
casual.
Yeah, it did sound. I have a nice little sweater vest. I was gonna say who it remind me of on right now, but I don't think he's on the list of people we can talk about. But nice little quarter zip sweater vest today. So yeah, I'm in a very casual mood. Got my French vanilla cappuccino. But yeah.
Seem more like a caramel macchiato guy, am I right?
Nah, not a macchiato. No, I gotta keep it fairly simple as possible, right? Just like my run fits, right? I like my run fits to be simple. If we're gonna spill, let's spill it. If we're gonna box it, let's box it. But at the end of the day, if you have linebackers that know how to flow and fit, then you can have some nuance in it where like, hey, bro, just hit it. Like, you're on the field, like, I don't care what you do, just hit it. I got you. We'll clean it up on the second and third level. But I prefer, especially being as a defensive guy, and maybe it's just the Bo Pelini in me of, hey, it better look like how it looked on paper, maybe that's just been indoctrinated in me. But yeah, I'm very much I like things to be predictable in that sense. So then, and it's more not, and I think sometimes, especially you understand this DB in the coaching world, I think sometimes people take that as could be stubbornness, maybe a little bit. But I look at it as more if I can almost predict how it should fit, then I can find, okay, if we got hit here, okay, I know what the problem is. So it's not so much that I feel like, this is always the right way, or we may feel like what we want to do on the edge and how we spill and box it is the right way. It's just how
if you're getting hit B gap or you're getting hit B gap or you're getting
right. I want to be able to have a problem and solution. I don't ever want players to come to the sideline and I'm looking as if I don't have something for them, right? And I think a lot of coaches think that way. I think you would agree with that too. Again, I say I like it. I would like it as a coach, but when I play, it was never. I feel like I had a good understanding of flow and feel with the backs that I could play off of. I can play off those things, but everybody's not like that, and it takes some time and reps to get to that point. For myself,
and sometimes you like to be multiple, right? If then, but
right, yep.
But it does take some savvy too, because what happens is and you can speak to, maybe this isn't you, but you like to have options too, right? Like auto checks are good, except you understand that they got a marker and dry erase board too. So do I really want to auto? Do I really, you know what I mean? So, but I think for this particular team, like you have to play pullers. And you can even get into fronts, right? If I'm in a 4 down, we're going to play pullers like this. If I'm in a 5 down, we're going to play pullers like this. If I'm in 3 down, and I'm sure they do, it just seems like there's the little bit of indecision is kind of what's costing them sometimes. And I always wonder, are they boxing this or are they spilling this? Because when you have box safeties, the angles should be better. When you have, if you're boxing it for insides, then their fit should be faster, right? So, like, they're just things I think about sequentially where I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to put it. Looking at those angles and how they're fitting, obviously in conjunction with what the run path is.
That's
Definitely.
why I always talk about trust, and it's hard, I think, sometimes for our listener when I say stopping the run is about trust. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. I agree.
You may be able to explain it cleaner than I am.
I think that's perfect. I mean, there's some nuances. There's some deep dive details you can get into, but at the end of the day, I think it's about trust. Just like, no different in pass coverage. We're playing split field to the left side. I don't care what you're doing on the right side. I got to trust that my two guys that we're playing split field coverage on this side, hey, we understand how to pattern match. We understand how to distribute those routes. And I think in totality as a defense, run fits, it's about trust. It's about knowing and feeling that, for one, I am going to do my job and that someone else is going to fit it properly, that if I do my job, ball should go to me in certain situations, right? And to be for everybody in that sense. But I agree. It's about trust.
It's like if you're supposed to be an A gap, own A gap. If you're supposed to be in B gap, own B gap. Right? So, or whatever it is. So then I can get to where I need to be.
Agreed. Yep.
MRI, want to switch over to the offensive side of the ball for Nebraska. For what you've seen from Penn State's defense and what limited sample size we have of TJ Lateef, do you think we'll see a pretty similar game plan to what we saw against UCLA, or you think with the bye week they might be able to add some wrinkles to take advantage of some of the things that Penn State does?
I think it'll be a similar game plan. Penn State is defensively, obviously you go get Knowles, who just comes off of a national championship year with Ohio State, and you expected the defense to look a certain way. Obviously, schematically, it's very, just as much as the offense coordinator is, a mad scientist in the way he puts together formations and alignments and things like that. Knowles is known for that as well, with his back end rotation and doing some of the same 3 high stuff, but out of 4-man front. So the defense hasn't looked as good as I think. Obviously, with Franklin now being at Virginia Tech, it ain't looked as good as they expected it. So I think the same game plan can work against this team. They've been hit and miss on stopping the run. Their sack numbers haven't been as high as obviously people expected. So I think the pass pro should hold up, right? It's in similar fashion that it did with UCLA. So I think they should be fine offensively if they, keep the same game plan. Obviously, you get a game like you got out of Emmett. That helps out tremendously. But I think if Lateef can play as poised, I think a big thing that wasn't talking, I think maybe I heard a couple talking heads around Nebraska talk about it or speak on it. Just his composure, and I think Dana maybe spoke on it. His composure coming back home, he could have made that a whole scene, as far as like, pregame, hyping, just overly hyping himself up, and I think that's just a kudos, obviously, to him. He has to live in the moment, but I think just the staff and preparing every single guy to be ready at a professional level to step in and do their job. And I
30,
think he did a
35
great
tickets,
job.
right? Like,
that's
a headache.
you've been there, DB, when it's a hassle, that game where everybody in your family wants to come to, and you're coming back home. So, even now, I remember us filling. You're on the computer filling out. He's got 33 guys. That form to fill out the tickets it's a background check. You know what I mean? You fill it out for a minute. So, just to get that taken care of and still be able to handle himself the way he did. I really like his poise. I really like the way he played. He put the ball in the right spots. Would like to see, maybe it's a thing. He's more of a pocket passer than maybe I want to say he is. I'd like to see a little bit more designed runs, just with him, just a little bit more.
Isn't that funny? Because going in, I told Benny Mack during the pregame show, I said, the funny thing is we keep acting like he's a running quarterback. Like, he spins it better than he runs it. He just has the ability.
He just has the ability to do it.
To run it, right? Because there were very, very few QB run games. But now you have chances to get other quarterbacks ready. So you may be a little bit more confident
Yeah,
unleash QB
and
run
two,
game.
I mean, we have a solid number two, but I don't think we want to get to number three. You get what I'm saying? So that could be
Yeah.
also in the mindset of the coordinator. Like, hey, we know we could probably use his legs a little more in some design stuff, but just understand where we are and the depth of our quarterback. Let's keep him in the pocket, and he's doing that very well. So hey, let's stick to that until we need to do something else.
MRI, as something that I've kind of struggled with this whole week. A little less football-y question for you, but I think there'll be some nuggets in there. Do you understand? There's been this perception around Nebraska the whole week that this is kind of maybe a better Penn State team than their record indicates. At some point, keep arguing that you kind of are who your record says you are. Do you understand what seems to be some fear from the Nebraska fan base's part about who this Penn State team is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they obviously, I mean, if we want to do, the nerdy, let's go stars for stars, according to, some sites, this is a more talented overall football team, right? I mean, it's just how they would see it or based on their rankings, right? And I think Nebraska's at a point where we're playing the brand, more than we're playing the actual team that we're facing. And you just hope that doesn't creep into the players' mindset. But I don't think it will. I don't think it will or has. But when when you look at them, the past 5 games, right? They lost a 1-point game to Northwestern, 1-point game to Iowa, Ohio State's Ohio State, they lose 38-14. Indiana, they're going blow to blow with them. So I think even in their losses, and I think maybe it's more so how they played in Indiana, how emotional that game was, losing that and coming back and playing and beating. I mean, Michigan State's Michigan State. They're no world beater, but doing what they did against Michigan State and playing well, I think maybe more so nationally a perception that this team is kind of finding their footing a little bit. So I think that's kind of lending itself to Husker fans being a little bit maybe more anxious for this game than how we were looking at it. I remember people in Northwestern or like 2-3 weeks ago, we're talking, oh yeah, we're going to beat Penn State, and it feels like that all the time. That's the up and down roller coaster that you get off the ride at the end of the year and just want to throw up, because it's just we do this all the time where it's 2-3 weeks out or preseason. Yeah, we should beat this team. We should beat this, and then it gets closer to the game, and we just get ourselves all wound up. And I think there's merit to the way Penn State's played over the past 2 weeks to give you okay, this is a much better team than I think they were in a position, both I think in morale and also in how they're playing in the previous weeks. So again, I understand it, but I'm not looking at this Penn State team any different than I saw them 2-3 weeks ago. I think they played hard. They're going to play hard. Still figuring out their head coaching situation. And I think, as you've seen last week with that win, they're playing for their interim head coach. Obviously, he's been at Penn State for a very long time, so there's a lot of respect and admiration for him, and especially him sticking this out with the whole turmoil of losing their head coach. So there's some fire, there's some momentum there for them, but I don't think this should be anything that have Nebraska fans or even the players, program, whatever the case may be, like I said, overly anxious or just pessimistic. Maybe that's the best way. Pessimistic going into this game. I think Nebraska has a great chance to go get a win on the road.
That is Michael Rose-Ivey, former Husker. MRI, appreciate the time as always. Great stuff. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, champ.
No problem, guys. Man, appreciate you guys. Go Big Red.
That is Michael Rose-Ivey. Good stuff there.
V-neck sweater. Vanilla coffee.
Who's wearing V-necks that he's not allowed to talk about anymore?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't hear him.
So I don't know how much value you put in the 24/7 composite talent rankings, right? That's where they try and take the recruiting rankings and the transfer portal rankings and figure out what the talent on the roster is. But, and I'll get to the numbers here in a second. Do you think Iowa went into the Penn State game being like, oh, they're so talented?
No.
So for what it's worth, Iowa is.
What was the line?
I don't know what the line was.
I'm telling you,
is that what's freaked people out? Is it the line?
Yeah.
Because when I've asked the question,
that's what I think. I don't want to speak for.
That's fine.
The Tuckers. I'm just saying, like.
I feel like when I've asked the question, be like, well, of course they're big favorites against us. Look how talented they are. So I don't know which came first.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I hear you.
I'll just say Iowa is further behind Nebraska in talent rankings than Nebraska is behind Penn State. Just for what that's worth. Whatever that means to you, Iowa is further behind Nebraska in 24/7's talent composite than Nebraska is behind Penn State. So, like, Penn State's 10th, Nebraska's 20th, Iowa's 42nd. And in the actual, like, composite number that they come up with, Iowa's further behind Nebraska than Nebraska's behind Penn State. I think it's something that and that includes like a Drew Aller in there. Like, I think it's something we're overblowing a little bit.
I don't know. I think you're overthinking. I just think we don't win games against good programs. I think but it's like I said yesterday. We're afraid to say that out loud, but I think that's what it is.
And that's why we're afraid to say that we should win this game?
Yeah.
Because Nebraska should absolutely win this game.
I disagree.
Okay. So I take Penn State out of it. I think.
But I'm also not a guy. I don't talk in shoulds either.
Sure. I know. I go, okay, a 4-6 team on the road is a team Nebraska should beat if they are going to be who they want to be.
Iowa was favored. Thank you.
That's fine.
It's a big difference.
It is a big difference, but it's still the same team. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I know.
I get that the Vegas thing is very well could be part of the pee-pee tucking, as you like to call it. That's totally fair. I don't know why we can't just see past the number and be, instead of saying like, oh, well, of course the number is 9.5 or 10.5 or whatever. I think it's down to 8.5 this morning because it's Penn State. We're going to be like, oh, why is Penn State favored by 2 scores? Because that's where I'm at.
Right.
I understand if they're favored. Like, I thought 3.5 was a number that made sense to me. Basically a pick 'em plus home field advantage.
And I said Monday morning I could see
7.5. Yeah.
But it does. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter to the guys that are playing. I'm telling you that I think that's where the perception comes from.
Fair enough.
At some point, you have to beat a Michigan or a USC or a Michigan or another helmet program.
Sure.
Right. And they just haven't. So I think that's a big part of it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what the line is. I'm telling you that the line enhanced it. You know, so
yeah.
I think you're missing my point, Josh. My point is when I say what's the line versus the expectation, it's not that it was a night game at Kinnick. I'm saying my point is because Iowa was wherever this game was played, the perception is that Iowa should win. It would be different, and Ravi wouldn't be having this conversation if the perception was that Nebraska should win.
Right. And I think because of what the season...
I think you're upset because nobody's giving Nebraska a chance or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the fear factor.
I think given the way both of these team seasons have gone, Nebraska should be expected to win this game.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I don't know. You at some point, the helmet can't get you.
That's what I mean. Like, it's a helmet game. I get that.
But you have to win it too.
Sure. But like, Minnesota's not a helmet game like that. You know what I mean? Like,
they just had 5 in a row, so we created a different mystique.
Right. That's what I mean, though. Like, I feel like we create a mystique for everything.
Well,
that's kind of my point.
That's from not. Yeah, I don't love it. I always try to.
At some point, we have to get over it, though. Is my point.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, when it's a 4-6 team, either Penn State is that good, and we have to give them a ton of credit for winning this game on the road, which I don't think will happen if they do, because we just saw it happen with UCLA, or they're not that good, and Nebraska should beat them.
I am glad that you feel that they're disrespected, that the line is too high, but I just tell you, like, what difference does it make?
I think I'm skipping steps.
Okay.
Right? I'm skipping steps to what does this look like if Nebraska wins or loses this game? And what will the story we tell ourselves be, the royal we, not you and me, what will the story we tell ourselves be if Nebraska wins or loses this game? So I am skipping steps and getting to, okay, the line starts here. How does that mean we feel about, because we won't call this a great win. We won't call, Penn State on the road.
But we will call it a bad loss.
100%.
That's what. Okay.
So like I am fast forwarding, but that's the thing here is I'm laying the groundwork for Nebraska is going. You either have to say it's going to be a good win or it's going to be a bad loss. And if it's going to be a good win, then it's okay to be 8.5, 9.5, 10.5 point dogs.
I'm going to say the same thing I told you Monday morning.
Yeah.
If Nebraska wins, it will be the most talented team that Rule has beaten.
I'm totally fine with that. That's
what I think.
I would agree. I don't think that's what the conversation is going to be on Monday morning if Nebraska wins. That's what's bothering me this week, among other things, which we can get to next.
This ought to be good. You have enough time?
We'll see. We can always pick it up after as well.
And we can take as short or as long a break as we want.
We'll take a break real quick, and we'll get back into the Dayton Raiola of things with DB and me here on Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be right back.
I mean, following Gonzaga, Coach Mack kind of came up to me and was like, what do you think about this season? What do you really want to plan on? And put me on the blue squad a lot, got to play with those guys, and then went down with a stomach bug for a while, which wasn't very fun. But then coming back after that, just playing with those guys, and ultimately I felt like yesterday it was the right thing to do and for my process to get better and better. Oh, it was awesome. I mean, obviously I didn't shoot the ball like all of us did today, but other than that, I feel like my calling card is just playing extremely hard. I feel like I just try to do that every day. Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but obviously they'll be cheering for a little something different in these games than me just checking in, so just for the whole team.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
My opinion can't really change from what I've stood up here and said, right? So I've been tooting that horn for a while. The one thing that I didn't know is if he could handle 30 touches a game. I don't think any of us knew that, and we were concerned with the number of snaps and the number of touches early. We had that conversation with game 1 too much and then game 4 too much. Well, is it? Because that's, it doesn't look like it is to me. I mean, the dude just keeps getting stronger, and whatever, we need to do to get the ball to him. One, we're going to do that, but two, he can handle that, and so it's pretty cool to see a young man that's worked so hard that is getting the credit that he deserves. I mean, just look at the numbers. The numbers are as good as anybody in the country, and what I see is a motivated guy that practices hard and has a great attitude. Had a great practice out there today and is looking forward for another opportunity to go play the game he loves. And so, just really proud of him and where he's at and what he's doing.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you, make sure you give our friends over at Next Gen Mail Medical a call. DB headed over there yesterday, got to hang out with our guy Nick a little bit, who is clearly also a customer.
Fit.
Yeah, fit guy.
Yeah.
Appreciate him always helping us out. 402-614-9700. I got to call and get refills here pretty soon, but they'll take good care of me like they always do.
They're quick.
We love our friends over at Next Gen. So I wanted to get to
looking at some of these statistics that Husker X's and O's sent me. He hasn't given me permission to
share,
but I'll retweet this, or I'll screen grab it and see if he wants me to retweet it. But it's very interesting on stopping and run, missed tackles versus yards after contact.
Before we get to Dayton here, Jay, I'm not saying that this won't be a good win. What I'm saying is it can't both be a bad win and a bad loss. Like, it can't be. It's either a good win and a good loss, or a bad win and a bad loss. Like, it can't, or a bad win and a good loss. Like, it can't be all the things.
Right.
Right? That's all I'm saying. The way we've talked about Penn State, it should end up being either a good win or a good loss. But because they're 4-6, we will not look at it as a good loss, and we will not look at it as a good win.
And to T-Mac's point, it's the same thing you've been getting mad at for years.
Yeah.
About
it's the inconsistency of the way that we view the teams that Nebraska's about to play.
Versus Nebraska themselves.
Yes. Like, either give them credit or give them blame. It can't be both in the same moment. That's all. Let's get to, I want to get to the Dayton Raiola situation here, because I was thinking
all days.
I was thinking they were pretty wrong about Minnesota. They were also wrong about UCLA. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing, Daniel. I would kind of agree that there's no bad wins. I also don't think there's good losses. Like, this has been my thing with the SEC, right? I don't care about your good losses. Like, get over it. You lost. That's why we play games. It's over, right? That's why if you want to tell me Miami has to be in over Notre Dame, if you're picking one of the two, all right, they played. Same thing with A&M. Like, they played, right? No good losses. Doesn't matter. Losses are losses. I agree. Let's get to Dayton, though, because I spent a lot of time thinking last night, because I'm trying to figure out the plausible reasons for the decommitment, right? I'm spent 12 years as a financial investigator. Sometimes I like to lay out the options and see the most likely outcome, right? So here's where I landed on Dayton decommitting from Nebraska. I think there's three main options. Number one, didn't see a clear path toward playing time at Nebraska. You've got Dylan, and then TJ, and then Trey Taylor. That's an uphill battle for anybody. Didn't see a clear path to playing time for Nebraska. I think that's a very plausible explanation for the decommitment. Number two, wanted to forge his own path. Didn't want to follow in the footsteps of number one prospect Big Brother. Maybe didn't want to have to live up to the family name and the mystique. Maybe just didn't want everything that had to do with being a Raiola in Nebraska. That's option number two. Number three, and this is where we get in the weeds a little bit, and we'll have to parse through. Maybe he or his family or people around him, coaches, I don't know, whoever, haven't necessarily loved how Dylan's first 2 years went at Nebraska. And so they're looking at other options. That would seem to be the option that a lot of people that have talked to me think. That this is a harbinger of something that's happening with Dylan. That seemed to be a very popular theory online. So I included that one as well as a plausible theory.
All right, so what's the first one again?
Just didn't see a clear path to playing time. That to me is the simplest explanation.
So, but if that's the case, then what's changed? I mean,
so the thing that would have changed is they saw TJ in real game action against power conference opponents, and they're like, he's maybe further ahead than we thought.
So not even anything to do with Trey, just TJ's development.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you were in here before Trey, I think you think, hey, I've got a shot to get ahead of him once I'm in the program, and then he has to wait on me. But if you think you're behind TJ and you know Trey's coming on, then that looks a little bit more murky on my path to playing time.
Okay, give me two.
Number 2 is he wants to forge his own path. Doesn't want everything that has to do with being attached to being with his family in the state of Nebraska. And then number 3 is something to do with Dylan's time here has led him to not want to be here.
So that, yeah, I don't know. I could see on the heels of what I said yesterday. I do think there's something about the whole going into the Glenn Thomas thing.
Sure, and that's kind of part of my thinking on the last one.
Now, so I'm sure I'm contributing to your delinquency.
Absolutely, yeah.
It just didn't seem to fit.
So here's who I thought he was talking to in the moment.
Okay.
I thought he was talking to TJ, telling him he should stay.
See, but I told you I never thought that.
You didn't, right? And you told me that real time. Yeah. But that's where immediately where my mind went, because I
thought he was so real time. Full disclosure, I thought he's saying anybody that wants to play quarterback here, you'll get coached up. I don't care who it is.
Sure,
that's what I thought he was saying,
and that seems very plausible to me too. I thought if he was talking to someone specifically, it was TJ.
Now, I didn't think it needed a catalyst.
Sure,
it may have one after I watched the last couple of days, right?
Yeah,
because I thought he was just saying, "Hey, we could have." I thought he was just thinking ahead to having a dilemma.
Yeah, I thought he was just advocating for the program and for the coaches on his
but I
staff
at no point thought it was a TJ.
Okay.
I just thought he was kind of advocating in case, because he never likes to get caught with
like off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, if something's brewing, then I want to be out ahead of this. Just if you want to be a good quarterback, come here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's kind of changed a little.
Sure.
But I went into that yesterday.
So I think in light of the Dayton situation.
Do you think, was that plausible?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Like now I think it was plausible that he was just in general talking to people that want to come play quarterback in Nebraska or were considering it. I also think it's plausible that he's talking to someone specific or trying to make a specific point. At the time, I thought if he was trying to make a specific point, it was to TJ. Mm-hmm. Now, if option number 3 for Dayton decommitting is accurate, because now I have to start stacking my plausible theories together, right? Mm-hmm. If option number 3, which is he hasn't loved the way Dylan's first 2 years have gone, or from watching from afar, then maybe that's the catalyst for this conversation about Glenn Thomas, and maybe he is talking to Dylan. Maybe saying, if you want to get better as a quarterback, because what did you say yesterday about who Dylan was coming in as a prospect? Not a finished product.
So
right?
I think that's important.
Yes, and I agree.
Because I think we thought, the Raiolas thought he was something different or the same as what the fan base thought. Mm-hmm. I don't think at any point during this whole deal that Dom, that anybody in the fam had any unrealistic expectations about what Dylan was. Matter of fact, like I've talked to Dom about growth and learning to play the position and the jump from the junior year to the senior year and how he's still developing as a quarterback, or, last year or this year about, development and wanting him to be coached hard. Like in talking to his family, mm-hmm. I never got the sense that there were these illusions of grant. It's like,
that they thought that he was further along than he was.
Yeah. Right. At no point did I ever think that they thought that.
Is it plausible that they now think he's not as far along as he should be?
I don't know. I think,
because to me that would be the catalyst for the Glenn Thomas conversation if that's who they were talking to.
I get it.
Right.
I mean, short of asking him though, right. I don't know. But
this is just speculation. Like
But I think it would be very, very hard, and I can't predict what they thought the timeline would be.
Sure.
But it would be very hard for me to think, if I'm stepping back from this deal, mm-hmm. and I look at Dylan when he got there,
and
now, to think he's not a better quarterback.
I would agree.
He is. The problem is I don't know what your original expectation levels were.
Or your timeline.
Or what you thought he was.
Sure.
Because what we do, like I've seen this, because people don't like something or like they want to put their opinion on it. I don't, mm-hmm. you know, I've had this conversation with these people. You know, this former player doesn't like this, and so this is what I believe, or you know, this person in the media said this, and so this is what I believe. None of that may be true. It's just those people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not operating from that same starting point or that same continuum.
Right.
I'm just looking at what a guy got here, what I think his dad's expectation levels were, because it's no different than what I would. We're in the same boat. I just don't have the same. It'd be a lot harder for me if he was a 5-star safety coming out of Omaha, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
See, I can afford to be patient because I don't have to deal with the expectation levels and the day-to-day critiquing. Now, that day's going to come.
And the savior complex and the whole thing. Yeah.
But that was something that they never put on themselves.
Yeah, that was outside.
So, and I'm also not going to begrudge anybody for capitalizing on marketing either.
Yeah.
Right. So if we're tying marketing and the mystique and everything to what we think of him as a person, I think we're selling it short.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's a lot in there in terms of what expectations and timeline are a huge part of if option number 3 is the catalyst here, right?
Yeah.
Because without knowing that, it's hard to determine what would have changed or what would be the turning point. I have a theory based on timelines here, and we can talk about that in a minute, and we can ask Michael Brunt about it. And I think that would have to point to TJ's first start at the UCLA game.
Oh. Maybe.
Like if I'm trying to lay this out and be like, okay, what's changed from here to there to timelines to whatever,
I'd entertain that.
That's where I would have to start. But we're going to take a super quick break. We're going to talk to Brian Edwards here, get his picks for the week.
You got Shane's memo?
Yep. And then we will continue talking about this with Michael Brunt in the third hour. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, it's super cool. I think my teammates were just getting me the ball in the right places, trusting me. But I think overall it's just a great game for us to be able to go out there and play more of like 4 complete quarters. And I think we played with great pace today. Yeah, we talked about that at halftime, just coming out strong. Claire told us the stat, like our third quarter hasn't been like the best scoring wise or whatever. So we tried to come out punching, and I think we did that. So it was good.
I think it's just important just to keep our momentum rolling. We're undefeated so far, and so just for this momentum to keep us rolling into a experience that we haven't faced yet, just 2 back-to-back games in a row, and just trying to keep this, kind of what Britt said, these 4 complete quarters and what we learned from today and the past week into next week.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live on TBM. Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat HQ. We are joined now by Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider, and from Major Wager. B, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, fellas?
How we doing?
Good. I'm finally feeling like I'm home and back in the office. I didn't get back from Oxford until Monday night, and then Tuesday afternoon, I had some Seminole buddies that called me. They were going to make the trip over to Tally to watch UT Martin and the Knolls, and I'd already made a pretty large wager on UT Martin, so I decided to jump in the car with them and go to Tallahassee, and didn't get back till like 11:30 Tuesday night. And yesterday felt like Monday. Today feels like Tuesday, but it's all good.
Have we figured out what happened with Twitter jail?
Not really. They were telling me. So if y'all had to go into your DMs in the last 3 or 4 days, and they have to give like a 4-digit code.
No.
Yeah, so they did this thing where they're switching over the DMs to like a chat function, and they want you to like have an encrypted like PIN code.
And they're telling me my code's wrong, and I'm trying to figure out how to change the code, and they're telling me to go to my phone and have it synced and this and that, and I got tired of it.
That sounds a lot like Walt Kowalski. B, are you get off my lawn not understanding technology, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm that technological dipshoot.
You can say whatever you want.
That's right. You told me that last week. And
listen, one of our producers this morning called Ravi an a-hole. So, I think anything's fair game.
No, I think he said I called him an a-hole, if I recall. Yeah, that's what happened. So,
something like that.
Somebody was being an a-hole to somebody else. I don't know. It's hard to tell around here. There's a lot of
the moral of the story is neither one of them were afraid to say it. It's kind of where we're at when the kids fight with one another. Which, by the way, that UT Martin was stealing. Save as a kid, right? You were 5 to the good on that line, weren't you?
Yeah, and I had them first half. I think they lost by 14, and I had them 21 from early in the morning. I think they closed 19.5, but had them first half plus 12, and they were down 3 at half, and had their team total over 71.5. So it was good, but I needed it because my picks I gave you guys last week were garbage. Fortunately, I had some good live bets, especially Texas A&M at halftime. That should have been my biggest bet of the season. And then I got the Ravens live when they were down 7. Before I knew Shedeur was coming in, I might have been hesitant, but then Shedeur didn't play well, which kind of surprised me. But oh well.
You'll get all your Shedeur critiques after this week.
Yeah, for sure. I bet he'll play a lot better, is my guess.
Yeah, that's just how they drew it up, is that Shedeur Sanders would be starting this week when they drafted him. For everything that was coming out of the camp. You moved off of Flacco, you started Gabriel. Like, this is just how the Browns organization drew it up.
Boy, they have QB issues for decades.
Let's start with college hoops tonight. Troy. The other Troy, not the men of Troy, as they see these guys, 18 and a. That's a big number. You're going to eat it? You're going to lay it? What do we got?
I'm going to take those points with the Troy Trojans. I love their coach, Scott Cross. I've loved him for a long time, back to his UT Arlington days. So they played San Diego State 2 nights ago, and San Diego State hit a beyond half court buzzer beater. Don't know if you guys saw that, but
it's a rugged San Diego State bunch.
Yeah, they hit a beyond the half court buzzer beater to force overtime. So you would think it had to be deflating for Troy. No, they ended up winning in overtime and cashed plus 1150 money line tickets. I think they were 15.5-point underdogs. They're now 3-1, both straight up and against the spread as underdogs this year. They've got wins at Furman, at Kent State, at San Diego State. This is asking a lot coming back from an OT game, in a quick turnaround. But we're catching 18.5. And they just went out right at San Diego State. They got a stud power forward, Thomas Dowd, 25 points, 19 boards against the Aztecs. Give me Troy plus 18.5.
Ooh, all right. Let's move over to the ACC. You love betting against FSU, regardless of sport. NC State plus the 5.5 against the Seminoles. I'm not going to say my Seminoles because I don't care about their basketball team, but what do we have there?
Yeah, bad call on my part last week. But NC State has won 3 in a row and 5 of 6 in this rivalry. And the Noles, now they don't play every year, but they play most year, more often than not. And the Noles haven't won at Carter Finley since 2016. And I feel like they've been losing these Thursday and Friday games at NC State going back to the late Bowden tenure. And NC State, they are pretty good at home. 4-1 straight up. They beat Georgia Tech by 12. They beat Virginia, beat a pretty good East Carolina team, and their last 10 as home dogs, 8-2 against the spread, 6 outright wins. FSU 0-3, both straight up and ATS on the road this year. I'll take NC State plus 5.5.
Interesting one here. You're going to ride your Gators. I said this is a game on Monday. I said this line makes absolutely no sense. Florida has benefited a lot, I think, from soft lines. I think a lot of it has to do with their defensively, and they're usually in the game in the first halves. But with a low total, just 37.5, you got to think 4 may be plenty for the Gators to keep this close.
Yeah, this is mostly just because Tennessee never plays good at the Swamp. They haven't won at the Swamp since 2003 when Casey Clausen was the quarterback, and he won their back-to-back 2001 and 2003. Without Casey Clausen at quarterback, the Vols haven't won at the Swamp since 1971. And, yeah, I got to go Gators here. They're getting Caleb Banks back. He hasn't played since the LSU game. He was preseason All-American. Most of the Kuipers of the world had a first-round grade on him going into the season. And we didn't have our three best receivers last week. Obviously, two of them are gone for the year, but Vernell Brown is going to be back this week. So that's two really good impact players that are back. So, yeah, and look, in their last 8 home games, Florida's actually 7-1 straight up, 6-2 ATS. The only loss was by 2 to USF, and they're catching 4 or 4.5. I'll go with the Gators.
I thought this total, the in-game line, I thought was light, 9.5, less than a key-in number. It smells of backdoor cover. You may think the same, which is why you want to catch Vandy at the half.
Yeah, I don't want to lay that big of a number, so I'm gonna go Vandy minus 6.5 in the first half. Let's also go Diego Pavia over 52.5 rushing yards. So he has gone over that in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 10 games. Let's also go, look, Diego, he's not going to win the Heisman, but he's like either 4th or 5th on the board odds-wise. And it's very important for Vandy to have a Vandy kid at the ceremony in New York. And so I think they're going to do everything they can to get his stats padded. I'm going to go with him to score 2 or more touchdowns, plus 270. He scored at least 1 in 4 games in a row, and he had 2 against LSU. And I think they'll do everything they can to get his stats padded. So if they're down by the goal line, I think we'll see some QB run, not necessarily QB sneaks, but, something on the outside or what have you. And, those 2 for Diego.
All right, this classic ACC matchup, SMU and Louisville. Minus 2.5. SMU is the favorite here. How do you like that one?
Yeah, I'm going to go SMU here. They've won back-to-back games and 5 of their last 6, and 4 of those wins by 11 or more. SMU has had 2 weeks off. Louisville's playing its 6th game in 6 weeks. And at home this year, SMU 4-1 straight up, only lost back in week 2 in overtime to Baylor. And they beat Miami, and then their other 3 wins by margins of 29, 13, and 24. Louisville has lost back-to-back in heartbreaking fashion to ruin their ACC title hopes. So I like the Mustangs minus 2.5 at home.
I was just talking about T. Green on Monday. This dude is putting up video game numbers. That highlight reel from last week was silly. You're going to jump on some player props with Green?
Yeah, Arkansas creates
they'll score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arkansas creates new ways to lose every week. They had an 87-yard drive and a 71-yard drive last week and got 0. That'll ruin it over very fast. But these stud horses keep coming through for me with my player props. That's Taylor Green and Mike Washington. Let's go back to them. Green over 52.5 rushing yards and anytime touchdown plus 120. Let's go Washington over 65.5 rushing yards. Green's had 53 or more in 7 of 10. Washington has had at least 70 in 7 of 10. And he's had 116 or more 4 times. And 2 of the 3 games, he did not get to 66. He had 63 and 65. So, Mike Washington over 65.5. Taylor Green over 52.5 and anytime tutty plus 120.
I can't believe you're getting plus money on an anytime touchdown for Taylor Green.
That doesn't seem right, does it?
I can't either.
That's a steal. Let's get to the pro ranks here. Chiefs and Colts. Chiefs are 3-point favorites. How you feeling?
Yeah, Chiefs desperation mode here. I just think Mahomes is in a little bit of a funk, but I think he'll get it back, or he can get it back at any time. Look, they lost that 3-point game to the Eagles at home, but since then at home, 4-0 both straight up and ATS. They beat Baltimore by 17, Detroit by 13, Las Vegas by 31, and Washington by 21. And the Colts haven't looked as sharp their last 2 games. Lose by 7 at Pittsburgh and needed OT to beat my sorry Sorry, Falcons. I got one more in NFL. If that was all the picks I sent, right?
Yeah. What do we got?
Oh, I got to go Eagles 3 or 3.5 at Dallas. If
You love drama.
Yeah, if you can buy that half point, let's buy that half point with the Eagles. Why is there so much drama in Philly? All they do is win.
I know it. It's incredible. Now the latest of the latest of the latest is
Deshaun Jackson.
Hurts shrugging off the disappointment in quarterback play. This is it's fascinating in Philly.
Well, and Deshaun Jackson says there's something else going on.
Yeah, brotherly love
between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
whoa, fill me in there. I'm not familiar with that. What's going on?
He says he won't say what it is, but he feels like there's something additional going on. So
if that have to do with girlfriends or wives, doesn't
well,
it?
So I immediately think 99 problems, but who knows?
You're not talking about Willie Rofe and Joe Horn, are you?
Hey, I'd leave Willie alone, even though Joe's crazy.
Just don't leave your girl with Tony Parker. That's all I know.
Wow.
Tough crowd. That's Brian Edwards.
I forgot all about her. I'm going to look her up. She was fire. Probably is. Probably still is.
We will talk to you later, B.
All right, B.
That is Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider from Major Wager. We'll take a quick break here, and we will talk to Michael Brunt from Husker 24/7 coming up next.
I mean, following Gonzaga, Coach Mack kind of came up to me and was like, what do you think about this season? What do you really want to plan on? And put me on the blue squad a lot, got to play with those guys, and then went down with a stomach bug for a while, which wasn't very fun. But then coming back after that, just playing with those guys, and ultimately I felt like yesterday it was the right thing to do and for my process to get better and better. Oh, it was awesome. I mean, obviously I didn't shoot the ball like all of us did today, but other than that, I feel like my calling card is just playing extremely hard. I feel like I just try to do that every day. Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but obviously they'll be cheering for a little something different in these games than me just checking in, so just for the whole team.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
My opinion can't really change from what I've stood up here and said, right? So I've been tooting that horn for a while. The one thing that I didn't know is if he could handle 30 touches a game. You know, I don't think any of us knew that. You know, and we were concerned with the number of snaps and the number of touches early. You know, we had that conversation with game 1 too much and then game 4 too much. Well, is it? Because that's, you know, it doesn't look like it is to me. I mean, the dude just keeps getting stronger, and whatever, you know, we need to do to get the ball to him. One, we're going to do that, but two, he can handle that, you know, and so it's pretty cool to see a young man that's worked so hard that is getting the credit that he deserves. You know, I mean, just look at the numbers. The numbers are as good as anybody in the country, you know, and what I see is a motivated guy that practices hard and has a great attitude. You know, had a great practice out there today and is looking forward for another opportunity to go play the game he loves. And so, you know, just really proud of him and where he's at and what he's doing.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar. And no, we're not at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. I made it so close. I got through 2 hours today before I screwed it up.
Well, you talked yourself through the other boo-boo, so I didn't count that one.
Oh, so that's just the first one? Okay, well, listen, once in 2 days, not terrible. A way to not screw up when you're looking for your first home is to make sure you get in contact with Centris Federal Credit Union. They've got programs and experts to help you out through this process, which can get a little overwhelming if you've never done it before. Their My First Home program offers up to 105% financing with no private mortgage insurance required. And as I mentioned, they've got a local team of experts ready to help you every step of the way. Get started today at centrisfcu.org, subject to credit approval, terms and conditions applied, federally insured by NCUA, and an equal housing lender. So Brunt's going to join us here in a few minutes. We'll talk to him at that point, but wanted to start getting back into this Dayton Raiola discussion about what might have possibly changed within the time frame of his decommitment, right? And I think the first two scenarios I laid out are pretty self-explanatory, which is why I'm mostly focusing on the third. Like, if you didn't feel there was a clear path to playing time, there's not that much to dive into there. If he wanted to forge his own path, there's not that much to dive into there. The third one's really the only one with additional variables, right? So I don't think one of these is necessarily more likely than the other because I don't have any information to tell me otherwise. Although I do think the second one just instinctually doesn't feel like the one that it's to me. I think it's probably 1 or 3, but that's just my gut here. The third one's the one that has interesting variables about whether or not they're happy with how the family's experience has been at Nebraska so far. And the question would then be, what has changed as of late? So you kind of have to look at most recently. And the biggest thing that's changed as of late is Dylan got injured. And we've now seen TJ Lateef start at quarterback and play basically a game and a half at quarterback. Is there anything about that in your mind that would have a significant impact on how Dylan or Dayton would feel about Nebraska?
I don't know about significance, but I mean, it's got to factor in, right? Because
it's new information.
Yeah. And I mean, TJ could be pretty good. It just introduces a lot of dynamics, and it also actually brings back into play number one too, where if you can get another year out of Dylan, TJ's pretty good.
Yeah.
Would he sit? Would he move? Would now, people be in Dylan's DMs like, hey,
yeah,
I mean, because they could be in Dylan's DMs just as much as they are TJ's. So,
absolutely.
I mean, Coach, he said like 4 or 5 different times that guys are in his players' mentions, and he talked about quarterbacks. So I'd imagine they're all one and the same. Ask Brunt.
Yeah, let's talk to our guy Brunt here. Ask him what he thinks about it. We're joined now by Michael Brunt of Husker 24/7.
Skullcap,
Mike Brunt. Wearing the beanie today.
Like it.
What's up, Brunt?
I did the Ace Ventura parking job in the driveway and ran into the house. So I'm sorry. I don't have the jacket off.
Did you whip that thing around?
Yeah. I knocked over the little statue in the yard and ran into the house, and here I am.
Are you a big gnome guy? What statue are we talking about?
I don't have any yard statue.
Gnomes?
I guess I could be a gnome guy.
You like gnomes?
I don't mind them.
We have a lion statue.
A lion?
Yeah, it's like a little lion. The previous owner left it, and it was in the backyard, so I moved it out to the front because I liked it.
So there's a neighborhood over by Prairie Lane that has 2 mounted lion's heads. They're black.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
Seems a little much, but I mean, to each his own.
I like a lion statue.
It's all good.
Let's have more lion statues, Brunt.
Brunt, I take that back. You don't strike me as a big gnome guy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but if you had gnomes, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got a different setup today?
We're at
Ravi, you're
headquarters.
sitting.
I am sitting.
Weren't you standing yesterday?
I've gone back and forth throughout both shows.
Okay.
I'm
very perceptive, Mike.
I was watching it yesterday, and I was like, man, that's a long time to stand. Like it's like that Seinfeld where they get the security guard a bar stool, and then he falls asleep in the rocking chair.
I stood for 3 hours yesterday. I prefer to stand. This is how I call games too, so it's fine.
Oh,
I'm a stander.
Your legs hurt though afterwards?
No, but I did sit over there on the couch and stretch, so that's always good.
Usually the low back for me gets a little
That's
tight.
what I was.
Yeah,
That's what I was fixing over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know we're getting old. We're talking about low back problems from standing too long.
Need some Skechers shape ups or something.
Gotta get those Joe Montana shoes.
Shoot.
Brunts, we were talking about the whole Dayton Raiola situation here. In your mind, do you think there is a correlation between Dayton's decision and what eventually happens with Dylan here at Nebraska?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I think I think Dayton's decision to move on. I mean, I think that. I mean, it's one, I guess, one less thing to kind of, put in Nebraska's column for why, connection there, I guess. I think when you dig into the decision itself, I think it actually makes sense because, I mean, you look at what the quarterback picture looks like, and Nebraska actually has a pretty healthy quarterback room right now. As a quarterback, how long do you want to go and sit and compete? Because, I mean, now you've got a quarterback in TJ Lateef that by the end of the year is going to have, I mean, not significant, but a good amount of starting experience. That picture has changed. You've got Trey Taylor coming in right behind you that you're going to have to compete for whatever the role is that you're going for. So I get that. I mean, I think when you kind of dig into the actual decision itself, that makes sense. The timing of it is a little odd, right before National Signing Day, 2 weeks before National Signing Day. But, I think as it relates to Dylan, though, I mean, I'm kind of the opinion, and this is not a Dylan specific thing. But I think in college football nowadays, you just have to approach roster management at the quarterback spot that every year you're having to re-recruit your quarterback. Like that's just, I think, the way it is. I mean, look at what's happening at Arizona State with Levitt. Like I think that's going to be more of the norm.
Sellers at South Carolina, CJ Bailey. I mean, there's guys linked all over the place.
Like, and that's nothing about Dylan's situation. I just think that's the nature of quarterback roster management right now in 2025 is that you just every year you're going to have to kind of re-recruit your roster. And I think that's especially true at the quarterback spot until you get some kind of significant change in the way that this stuff is handled with NIL and everything else. So, I think with, regardless of what Dayton would have done, I mean, I still think that's a conversation that you're probably having regardless about your quarterback is just, making sure that things are locked in. I mean, you had, Cal's quarterback the other day reaffirming the fact that he was going to be back. You almost kind of need it's like a recommitment ceremony, right? Like you're renewing the vows every year. So,
last year with Dylan too, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think that's people just need to get comfortable with the fact, no matter how uncomfortable that is, that's just going to be, how things operate now.
Go ahead.
Are we headed for a situation? Are we headed for a situation where eventually we see someone sue a quarterback for leaving? Because my thought goes, okay, so if it's a year-to-year situation, well, let's sign a 3-year deal. And then it's like, okay, if you sign a 3-year deal, what's to keep the quarterback from breaking that deal? Because an NIL deal doesn't affect eligibility. So what's the thing to hold them to the deal? And eventually I landed on somebody's going to get sued.
Yeah, that's basically where we always end up in college sports, right? Like every rule change, somebody's getting sued. But no, I do. I don't know that we're to that. I mean, that'd be a hell of a line to jump over, I think. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, like you got a point at some time where things are gonna slow down a little bit with this. But I mean, I guess that's kind of how I approach it. And when you get reports about so and so's looking around and whatever, it's like, well, I mean, Matt Rule said pretty clearly that players or opposing coaches are in DMs about their players. I mean, I think you kind of have to be naive to expect that that's not happening frequently, especially at the quarterback spot, which is such a premium position. Thank you. I was hoping you drew something. That's actually pretty good.
It's because he wanted to be a profiler. That's a sketch of you. If you were ever a suspect in a crime, that's what he would come up with.
That's what it would look like. Just glasses and a skull cap.
So
with a little bit of facial hair.
So Brunt, let me ask you something, because this always bugged me, and full disclosure, this is like just because I know the family, so I was a little protective, but it kind of always bugged me that the perception of how the family handled their business wasn't always in lockstep with how I think they viewed their son, right? I think sometimes we viewed the business opportunities and the marketing, and it was convoluted by the fact that they were never under the assumption that he didn't need work or need to be developed, right? Sometimes I think we forget how little inexperience he actually had playing the quarterback spot at a pretty high level, given the ranking coming out of high school, because I think it happened pretty fast, right? Do you think the name versus the ranking, did it ever match the quarterback experience when we were critiquing this thing all along in your vantage point?
So you're asking if the family felt that there was more development that was needed based on.
I think Dom and those, I think the fam knew that he always had a lot of work to do, right?
Yeah.
I think the fan base, we wanted him to be more of a finished product quicker. So the timelines are disjointed. So now we get kind of this.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I think, I mean, I I can't speak to how the family felt about things, but I mean, I would guess that, they were pretty open-eyed about things and what was still needed, development wise. It's tough. I mean, and especially at the quarterback spot, when you come in with that kind of juice behind your name with the rankings and everything, it's hard to come in and just kind of set the world on fire, and especially to do it from day one. I think sometimes the guys that are able to do it too are also in situations where the picture around them is a little bit more developed too. Like I think it's kind of tough to ask a guy to come in and really kind of jumpstart an offense that needed to be jumpstarted, probably at more than just the quarterback spot. So, I mean, I think, expectations, from the fan base were maybe a little bit supercharged, but I mean, there's a lot of excitement about him. That was a big recruiting win. Legacy commit or legacy quarterback that had been committed to Georgia. I think, I think that's kind of the reason for it. And frankly, a guy that, a fan base guy that chooses them, I think that was the excitement about it too. So we'll see where things go, but I mean, I think, in kind of hindsight, looking back on it, I mean, the Glenn Thomas conversation and random mention was kind of funny this week now. But I mean, that's all part of it is the development piece and, how he's kind of coming along.
Well, let me ask you something, MB. When I always like to ask you about future headlines. If Nebraska wins in State College, is it the offense, defense, or special teams that grabs the headline?
I think if Nebraska wins, it's going to have to be the defense. I think you're going to have to, I could go either way on this one, but I just think so much of the conversation this week has been about, and not just from fans, it's been from the coaching staff too, publicly, about, we know what Penn State's going to try to do. We know what we have to do to game plan. It's about run defense. And I think if Nebraska can be pretty effective against the run, they're going to have a chance to win this one. It's going to be a 1-score game. And so I think the headlines would be more about that. But on the other hand, I mean, there is a lot of intrigue about how TJ Lateef is going to look against a better defense in a much more difficult environment. So I think the headlines are going to be about TJ Lateef. But I do think the biggest key in this one is what Nebraska can do against the run and what's probably going to be a low possession type game where you're not going to be able to give up, a 16 play drive like you did against UCLA. Like you're going to have to get off the field at some point when you have the opportunity to do that. So that's a really convoluted way of saying both. But I do think Lateef will be the headline, but I do think the biggest key is Nebraska's run defense.
Brunts, if we've talked a lot about what we think Penn State's going to do and how they're going to try and dictate the way the game goes. If Nebraska was able to dictate pace and style of the game, what do you think that would look like?
I think it would look similar to UCLA, like without the long drives that you gave up. Like I think the good recipe for Nebraska on offense is you get the running game going, which is going to be a challenge against Penn State's front, but and then you mix in some big plays. I mean that to me is the recipe and how you kind of control things. I mean I think Nebraska has the special teams where they can make Penn State have to drive. Like it's just, again, when you get into 3rd and 4, can you get a stop and force a punt? Can you win enough on 1st down to where you're, looking at 2nd and 9 versus, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3. Like I don't know about you guys, but if that UCLA game very early on, you could tell what kind of game it was going to be for Nebraska's run defense. Like it felt early in that game like UCLA was going to be able to run a little bit if they wanted to. So I think that's kind of the way to dictate it a little bit. You just got to get off the field and be better on 3rd down on defense. And I just think, you don't want to hear it, but I think Nebraska's got a lot of comfort in these 1-score games. And I think that's kind of where this one's headed. So we'll see.
That's interesting. You bring up 1-score games. Our little friend here has been having a hard time this week managing the expectations, the record, and the point spread. And I think the point spread is the least of important of the bunch because
it's a lot, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, geez. Go ahead then, Kerosene. Just gas this thing up.
I certainly think so.
Some are saying it's a lot of points.
It's a lot, isn't it? All right, so they hit to Ravi's point. If this thing opens, if it's 7, and then Penn State still has the losing record, and we're talking about their talent, do you think it's a lot easier to negotiate in Nebraska's fans' heads than it opening at 10 and them having a losing, because that started the whole, what do we believe in and talent and. Can we win another game can we win a game against a helmet team? Because I do think this would be the most talented team Coach Rule has beaten if they win.
Yeah, no, I mean, go back to what the conversation was at the start of the year about Penn State, it's, you have a different quarterback in there, obviously the coaching upheaval and everything, but I mean, a lot of those guys that you thought highly of back in August are still there in November. We'll see how motivated they are and with everything else. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough, I think, to square the record with the points. And I think you just kind of have to remind yourself that, for all of James Franklin's issues, they recruited pretty darn well. They've got guys that can play a little football. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's the tough thing to square, though, is the record with that. But I agree with you. I mean, I think if Nebraska goes in and beats Penn State on the road, I mean, that's by far the best win this year. And Yeah, I mean, I'd go along with, that being probably the best team that they've beaten in the 3 years that Matt Rule's been there. I mean, I think kind of combined with the roster and just kind of what you're walking into there and having to win a road game in a tough place like that. I mean, I would go along with that.
Can I give
Is
you
Northwestern number 2?
No, they appear to be pretty good. They about Northwestern Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would have been something.
How much credit did Nebraska give for the Northwestern win?
None.
Okay. Let me give you a hypothetical here.
Brunt, do you appreciate your friend's delivery? Because I sure don't.
Yeah. he's not. He doesn't.
He's been surly all week.
Yeah.
Let me give you a hypothetical here, Brunt. Let's say everything that we know about Penn State is true, but it's all true about Michigan State instead. Let's say everything is true. They were preseason number 2 in the country, exact same recruiting profile. Let's even say James Franklin was the head coach and gets fired midseason, that their starting quarterback, who at the start of the year was a projected first-round draft pick, is hurt. We're dealing with a redshirt freshman on his 4th start or whatever it is. Let's say everything about Penn State is true, but it's Michigan State instead of Penn State. How much differently do we feel?
Like it's just a different helmet, but everything else is Penn State.
Yeah, like how much of it's because of we just think Penn State is something different?
No, I still think I mean they're different, but I think I don't know that you can separate it. Like
I agree.
It's all part of it.
The helmet matters.
The helmet matters. I mean, if you've been there, I mean that's a tough place to play. Like Nebraska's never played a night game there that I've covered. I mean, I know they've played night games there, but it's just different. It's a different animal. Like it feels like a tougher place to play when it's rocking than say like Michigan. I think that's why I'm kind of curious to see what Saturday night's going to be like. Like what's the vibe going to be? Because I think that all matter. I don't think you can separate it. Like, and I don't think it's just that's Penn State. I mean, it's legitimately a tough place to win, and I don't think you can separate those two things. So, and I do think they've got talent. Like I think you kind of have to remember that. So, I didn't mean to crap on your hypothetical, but
no, I'm genuinely curious because it's not like
I don't think it's just like, oh, well, that's Penn State. So they're going to like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happened at Penn State that caused the season to go the way that it did. But I think the things that would lead you to believe preseason that they were going to be okay as a football team, I think a lot of those things are still there, even though you're fighting the coaching change. I mean, is James Franklin sliding into DMs this week? I don't know. Like, is that a factor?
So yesterday, Brunt, I was telling Ravi, I was just being a Berean, just doing my own homework. I was, perusing some Penn State stuff, and their media was all talking about James Franklin. It had very little to do with Nebraska. Any chance, and I get it, right? I mean, it's Franklin, right? But any chance Penn State's distracted?
Well, I mean, you had the interim head coach talking about how you have to protect the roster. I mean,
right.
that was part of the conversation.
That was strange.
So, I mean, I'm sure you guys saw the report. There was like 9 staffers. I mean, they're on the recruiting side, but there were like 9 that just are gone, assuming they're going to Virginia.
Like what? Like, is Penn State distracted?
But I don't know. Like, I mean, you guys remember how 2022 was. I mean, by November, like, how much were you focusing on games in the media conversation? Like, it was all coaching search. And I think they're kind of at that point now where, the games are happening and people are interested, but the games are here, and like the coaching search and the conversation about that and everything else is way up here. So maybe there is a little bit of distraction to that. I mean, I don't know if senior night gets them a little bit more dialed in, but
they'll be doing it without a lot of the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, it's a factor in this. And that's kind of why I say, like, you gotta kind of see where Penn State's head's at for this one, because I think that's a big key.
So that kind of goes into my point here, Brunt, and I wonder, I remember that 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, however long, 4 years ago, whenever Nebraska hired Coach Rule. I remember as a fan base not really not caring, but the wins and losses didn't really matter because it wasn't going to change any outcomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were getting a new head coach. We didn't know who it was yet. We were almost positive it wasn't going to be Mickey Joseph at a certain point. And nothing was changing at that point in the season for us, right? I wonder how much of that is also true for Penn State when you sit here and you say, with the added addition of some of these guys are getting recruited by their former head coach. That wasn't happening with Scott Frost. Like, Scott Frost was not trying to poach the roster at all because he had nowhere to go. And it was pretty clear he wasn't going to have somewhere to go as a head coach, at least. So like, there's even an added layer with Penn State. I am really, really curious about not just the headspace of the players, which I think is in question, but also the fans. And just, I understand that in general, Penn State's a very difficult place to play. I am really curious about if that's true on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you're talking about 2022. I mean, basically by the middle of October, like, Nebraska went to Purdue and lost that game. And it was kind of, I think that was the point where we're just like, okay, like,
yeah,
you got to play this out. And that's why I was very curious with Penn State when they went to Michigan State last week. Like, if they would have lost that game and you don't even have the bowl game to play for at that point, like, what are you walking into? And I'm curious to see if the bowl thing is even a factor. But that's kind of the great unknown, I think. And
well, according to Ravi, those guys won't be around to play in the bowl game anyway.
I can't imagine most of them will be.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You're 6-6. Where are you going? I mean, do you want to go where you'd have to go? I don't know, but it's at least something that some kind of string that an interim coach can pull on a little bit to kind of get people going in the same direction. So I don't know. I mean, I agree. That's a big factor in this one and that's why, I mean, the 10.5 number, I get it, but it also, it's kind of like, well, how much value are we assigning to, what everything else that's swirling around there?
You're currently sitting at 8, so maybe people are with Ravi.
Coming back down. It's worth 2.5 points.
I'm gonna laugh too, because this ding dong said it would be 7 around game time, and I said that's too far of a drop.
I said between 6.5, 7.5.
This dude. I've never wanted to be so miserable as if it means Nebraska will win than listening to him next week if they do. I mean, can you imagine? Somebody will have put the quarter in, a dude that defended Nebraska till the bitter end, and if they pull it off, oh my gosh, there's not enough laps for this victory tour.
We're gonna have to get a bigger studio.
It's just gonna be Barry Horowitz all the way up to Thanksgiving.
Listen, if it means they won, I'll endure. That's for sure.
Yeah, you have to fall on that grenade for everybody, I guess.
I mean, it's better than the opposite of having to hope that Nebraska wins, so I don't come in here with the negative victory laps, right? I mean,
and one of the days I'll be at the state final, so I'll be off the hook for one of them.
I'll say, yeah, you'll be off the hook for early next week, and at least one of them.
It's fine.
No, I just, I do think this is a really fascinating situation. Brunt, I spent all of last week and also the last couple weeks trying to debate in my own head if I thought it would be better for Nebraska if Penn State came in with having beat someone or not being bowl eligible, right? Like, I spent the entire time thinking, okay, will they have less juice if they get over the hump and they just say, hey, we didn't lose out? Because losing 9 games in a row would have been like horrific, right? So I was trying to debate in my head, do they have more juice if they just get that hey, get a win monkey off their back, or hey, they no longer have bowl eligibility. There's literally nothing to play for anymore.
Right. No, and I think maybe one of the concerns is you've got, well, let's see, you played relatively well, but still lost to Indiana. Went on the road and won a very, from what I read, it seemed like it was a pretty emotional win. So I don't know. I mean, I think you would probably have preferred that they laid an egg in the woodshed in East Lansing, but yeah, here we are, I guess. So we'll see what it's like. It's always weird when Nebraska plays at Penn State. Like I think that's just kind of baked into everything.
That's what Nebraska does. They have weird games at Penn State. It's a tradition unlike any other.
2017 was the last one.
Here we go.
Yeah, it sure was. And we all remember, what was it, 2012?
2011.
2011.
Riots,
that was just, can we just get a normal trip to Happy Valley at some point? Just no.
They're not having to trade out seats for law enforcement this time, so that's a plus.
That's a bonus.
That's a win.
Yeah.
We'll call that a W.
Maybe win.
We'll call that a W. Brunt, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you for sacrificing your lawn gnomes to get on camera with us, and we will talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks for that drawing, DB. I like that.
You like that? I think this is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Yeah.
You want me to take a picture and send that to you?
Yeah, send that over.
All right, we'll do.
Right,
we appreciate it, buddy. That is Michael Brunt from Husker 24/7. Let's take a quick break here. We will talk to Jacob Padilla coming up next about a little
hoops,
Blue Jay basketball. FTB.
We got New Mexico and Nebraska tonight too.
Well, it's not his beat.
He's a ball knower, certified ball knower.
Certified ball knower. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla, Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
Yeah, it's super cool. I think my teammates were just getting me the ball in the right places, trusting me. But I think overall it was just a great game for us to be able to go out there and play more of like 4 complete quarters. And I think we played with great pace today. Yeah, we talked about that at halftime, just coming out strong. Claire told us the stat, like our third quarter hasn't been like the best scoring wise or whatever. So we tried to come out punching, and I think we did that. So it was good.
I think it's just important to just keep our momentum rolling. We're undefeated so far, and so just for this momentum to keep us rolling into a experience that we haven't faced yet. There's 2 back-to-back games in a row, and just trying to keep this, kind of what Britt said, these 4 complete quarters and what we learned from today and the past week into next week.
What I see, a guy has a big, strong arm. When you look at the last couple games, and really specifically the Indiana game, Indiana is a very good defense, as you guys know, that does a good job stopping the run and the pass. And he's ripping 25-yard in cuts, and he's ripping sail routes on the sideline. So he, when the coverage is what he thinks it is, he can make the throws, and he steps up in the pocket, and he's making those intermediate throws that I think I talked about a couple weeks ago. That's really the challenge for a quarterback, is you can throw it short, you can throw it deep. But if you can make those intermediate throws, and he's doing that. And then if you look at the Michigan State game, having the savvy and the competitiveness in critical situations on those kind of those last 2 drives of running the ball and extending the drives and, making the winning plays. So, that combined with their run game and their physicality, I think we've got to be prepared for.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Hurrdat Sports live presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar. Dang it. That's 2 times in a row. Not here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We're here at Hurrdat Sports headquarters with our guy, Jacob Padilla from Hurrdat Sports, NAB Preps, basically all of our coverages JP is a part of. What's up, buddy? How we doing?
Do I need to stand up? I feel kind of left out.
You want me to sit down for you, make you feel better? I'll sit down. There we go.
I will not. So
DB's always pacing, so I can't get him to sit down, but here we go.
That's fair.
Is that good? Is that better?
Yeah, sure. I just look because I'm sitting farther back.
Just want a real answer, something. No.
Because I'm sitting so far back, I look like extra short, like compared to you guys when you're standing up. So
you are taller than both of us, so
considerably.
Yeah.
Maybe we just a little disoriented.
Maybe we just want to feel tall for once, JP.
You know me and all my insecurities. Huh? Hey, are you? What are you doing today? Are you going down to? Are you going to watch New Mexico, Nebraska?
I got volleyball, DB.
That's it.
Huskers have a Big Ten title.
That's how. And did you look? You checked the calendar, right?
Yeah,
we're still in November.
Yeah.
Is that rough playing against yourself? Your own metrics.
Well, I
mean, you would know.
Yeah, that's true.
You're the only one in the room that knows.
That's true.
Yeah, I had to work to find things to include in my preview, and I was actually been competitive lately. They're 4-4 over their last 8. They've taken 2 sets off Minnesota, taken 2 sets off Indiana, they've taken 1 off Purdue. So Nebraska's got to show up here.
They may be in danger of losing their second set since September.
Probably not.
Delivery was classic.
Iowa might get to 20.
I love how that's the measuring stick for Nebraska basketball. It's like, are they going to lose a set? Yeah, probably not. Is the other team going to crack 20 in any set? Maybe.
Kind of where we're at, especially coming off of the loss that they did have.
Yeah,
you're like, all right, time to kick it back into gear.
Yeah, that's sometimes you need that to zero in and focus up.
Yeah, it was nice though that you can do it in a 3-1 win. Like, oh, we dropped 1 set. Time to play hard again. It's
must be tough out there. Speaking of zeroing in, let's get to our Blue Jay breakdown. Creighton coming off a 75-60 win last night against North Dakota. They go to 3-1 on the season, but I'm going to be honest, JP, did not love it.
On the one hand, if they simply make open shots, they win by 40 with the way that North Dakota chose to play. It was very similar to kind of what Nebraska has done to Creighton in the matchup, where kind of it seems counterintuitive for what you know about Creighton and the way they want to do, but just give them threes and hope that they don't make them.
And had similar results to what Nebraska has when Nebraska's beaten Creighton.
Yeah. Except Creighton won by 15.
Yeah. But in terms of the actual shooting,
yes. Yeah. No, it's 1 for 17 in the second half.
That's very bad.
Hard to be much worse than that.
That's very bad.
And maybe 15 of them were like great wide open looks.
And they missed what, like 15 in a row?
So, I mean, they only went 1 for 17.
And the first one's at the very beginning of the half. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, to his point, unless they made one in the middle, you were going to get some staggering amount of missed numbers and shots in a row. I love the subtle delivery. Well, yeah, they were 1 of 17, Ravi. Like, how would you have done it? Like, was that one directly in the middle? You still would have missed 9 in a row.
Yeah, but 15 is worse than 9.
16 total misses.
You got to watch
bad no matter
JP,
where they
man.
come from, but-
He's tough.
Oh, yeah. He kills us in the group chat constantly.
Oh, no, it's just in person. But I do have a couple of questions, though, because it's easy. We do this a lot with hoops, right? We say, well, you just got to make shots. Just, at some point, you expect to return to some sort of normalcy, to the mean, right, of your shooting percentages of who these players have been. Who does it start with first, in your opinion? Is it Dix?
Yes, it definitely. Well, so McAndrew's leading the team in 3-point attempts, or he was before this last game where he only played 8 minutes and is dealing with a foot issue. So that kind of complicates it. He would be the first one just by sheer volume and the role he plays on the team. But now we don't kind of know what he's going to be day-to-day basis. The same thing that held him out of the Iowa State exhibition, kind of a lingering foot deal, not something that went away all the way, unfortunately. And it's something he's going to have to deal with. He just said it kind of flared up on him and shoot around and wasn't able to really push off without too much pain. So that's they definitely need to get him going, just because of one, the volume and the type of threes that he's able to take when they run their actions. He's a guy that can shoot a little quick release, awesome motion or whatever. Dix is definitely number 2 though. Like those guys right there, like the role players, those guys will settle in, and their attempts. Part of that too, I think, is the number of attempts they've gotten. Some of these guys haven't been able to get into rhythm just because by nature of where they are on the depth chart, they're not going to get 5-6 shots to find a rhythm. But those two definitely are getting a lot of good looks right now. They're career really good 3-point shooters, and they're just not hitting right now. All
right, so Freeman shoots an excellent percentage, obviously 6 of 6, but he has to work really, really hard to get it. Is there like, I mean, we're not going to go back to low post entry school to play through the post, but there has to be some easier set pieces to get him some cleaner, a little easier looks. What does that look like in this offense?
Well, in this game specifically, with the amount of doubling and trapping, I think that took away some of that, and they also missed some opportunities. They didn't want to take risky passes. I don't know if they saw hands in the passing lanes, because they're Conan and Freeman, both those guys were rolling free to the rim just because they were so aggressive sending to the ball, and guys miss some opportunities to get him the ball there. So a lot of the passes were just the kick outs to get the open threes instead of getting to the basket. So that I think that played a part. And then the Gonzaga game where it took 2 shots, they were just so physical at the point of attack, 1 through 5 all over the floor, that Creighton's
going to be a great defensive team this year.
Yeah, 100%. Creighton couldn't run any of their sets. So like that's part of why he was a non-factor in the game. They just couldn't simply give him the ball in threatening positions because Gonzaga was blowing everything up. So a lot of it is just kind of them executing better, and we'll get into some matchups where they will be able to play through him. The thing that I was most impressed by and that stood out to me is just his activity, the defensively, his hands. He had 3 steals and 3 blocks. He fighting for offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
He just
looked a little healthier.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not.
Well, I think he finished with 4 or 5 offensive rebounds, and they were hustle. Yeah, I mean,
a lot of tipping it to himself, and
13 points, 8 rebounds, 5 offensive, 3 steals, 3 blocks, like in just 20 minutes.
Probably had a couple more that other guys ended up getting credited for offensive rebounds that he caused
Kept
as
alive,
well.
Yeah. So the activity was really good. Now it's just a matter of maintaining that and then continuing to push forward as he continues to round back into shape. But it's going to be a daily process. That's not one that they can fix in the short term. It's other guys that I'm worried about right now that they have to really kick it into gear while he is working his way back to being the weapon that they think he can be.
More integral to how you think this season plays out, JP, the fact that, Matt kind of openly gushes about Jason Green, but it was a direct correlation to how long he'd been in the program, right?
100%.
Versus I don't want to spend a ton of time coaching effort, and I need to spend more time coaching basketball. They're intertwined, but they're not. Which one will have more of an impact as this plays out?
Well, it's based on his quote about Hudson Greer as well. It kind of seems like the second one is as much of an issue as the first right now. It's not simply a matter of, oh, these are new guys learning where they're supposed to be. These are guys that hasn't quite set in how they need to play for this team and what they need to do in order to stay on the floor and to have success. And it was interesting. McDermott said he's probably got to get Jason more minutes, which I agreed with, and comes out here 28 minutes, despite this being his least productive showing so far this season.
Just 5 field goal attempts, right?
Yeah, and every one of those threes, like, they were all good looks. There were a couple of them that were halfway down and rattled out. Like the three ball is looking good for him, and he was off to a great start. Yeah. They just didn't go in like everybody else on this team, but just only 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He's just such a connector piece where even if he's not impacting the box score to a large degree,
no coincidence, highest plus minus
everybody else. And the difficulty there, though, is a lot of those extra minutes that he got him were from McAndrew not playing in the second half.
Because he finished in single digit minutes, right?
He played 8 minutes, didn't play in the second half because of the foot deal. And so Green has played almost no 4. He's been 3, he's been 5 to start the season up until this one. And then with McAndrew stepping out, that opened up more minutes for Green. So I don't know what that looks like when we get forward. It's kind of goes back to the overriding question for this. Like, they got to figure out all that stuff that McDermott's talking about, but just the rotation and the lineups and how do they want to play? What is their best look? We're through 4 games now and plus 2 exhibitions, and I still have no idea. And I don't think McDermott has, because we saw even again, inserting Greer into the lineup obviously changes things, but we saw different types of lineups even with him. Like, there was Greer came in and was playing the 4 essentially to start the game. It was him and Harper at the 3 and the 4. And then the second set he came in, it was Harper and Greer at the 2 and the 3. So however you want to do that. Like, so they went from a small lineup with Jason Green at the 5 to a big lineup where you've got a 6'7" 2 guard out there with Graves and a true center. So I think they're still trying to figure out how do we need to play.
Let's start with a given. You think Blake Harper's going to be able to score? How does it fit? What does it look like in this offense if he's being efficient as a scorer? I used 6 of 11 last night, so I'm not knocking that or the style. What does it look like if
within
the things?
What
does it look like?
And it's probably not 4 for 8. Like, he was 2 for 4 from 3 on the season before this, and he shot 40% close to at Howard last year, but it's low volume. He's much more of a put the ball on the deck and attack and try to make things happen. The shot isn't super quick. And we saw he kind of shot one over the basket.
And I think their best scorer right now is the guy that puts the ball on the deck. That's different, kind of.
Yeah. So that's going to be more. And frankly, they need that. They need guys that can go and create and actually win their matchups. They don't have a lot of guys that are doing that right now.
Especially before the chemistry sits in offensively.
Yeah, Gray's struggling a little bit to kind of get to the foul drawing was in full effect in this game. Unfortunately, he went 4 for 9 once he got there. But in terms of like 7 of his 10 shots were from threes, and that's kind of been, we haven't really seen him consistently get to the basket. That's not been the case for Harper. And so he's going to be really effective when they kind of get the shooting back and the spacing improves and teams. Assuming Creighton does revert to the mean from that area, it's going to be harder to dig in on him when he's playing his bully ball, getting to the baskets. And they run a lot of sets to get him in the little mid post. Try to get back screen to get him a favorable matchup and play through him down there. So I think that's going to be something they continue to do, is trying to get him there, posting up at 15 feet and playing out of it, because he can pass and he can get back down and get to the basket, get to that left hand. So I think that's what it's going to be for the most part. Just kind of a lot of putting him in good spots, and hopefully as, again, everything comes together, they can run their stuff a little bit more crisply to get guys in favorable positions.
We all know how Mac hates fouling. Can Creighton play the way that they're going to need to play defense in the Big East and keep that same philosophy? Because obviously you don't really have the rim protection yet, and it's certainly, if you get some, it's not caulk. So what does that look like?
Yeah, and even North Dakota, you're seeing them finish over guys, and it seems like they're intent on playing Green significant minutes at the 5 because they think, and again, they got to find a minute somehow. And he's just undersized at that spot, 6'7", 6'8", whatever they've got him listed at. Guys are going to be able to go over the top of him, even if he's in position. We saw that, again, even a team like North Dakota finished inside sometimes. So, yeah, I think, again, they're continuing to experiment with the way that they play, with trapping ball screens, hedging, blitzing. They showed a little like token pressure once he had that bigger lineup with Greer at the top of the key. So we'll see. And Greer, part of why he's going in there is because of his athleticism and his intensity on defense, his ability to rebound. So that should help on that end. He'll probably have some blown assignments here and there as he kind of figures it out. But everybody else is having those too. So I think you're willing to take the risk for the potential upside there. And that's part of the quote that Matt gave in his long answer about why Greer burned the red shirt is just thought about it. Like after watching that Gonzaga game, looking at like for us to be a good team in January, it's probably going to include Hudson in the rotation. So we got to get ready for that. But yeah, defensively, like they've got to figure some things out. And I think that's probably part of why Mac was as frustrated he was and did pull that red shirt for Greer is just some guys aren't quite getting it. And so I don't know. It's similar to the rotation defensively. I don't know that they know how they want to play. They're continuing to not foul at a great rate, but like you said, it doesn't work quite as well when you don't have a 7'1" rim protector that nobody can finish over waiting. So if guys are able to get kind of free drives to the basket, then they're going to have a better chance of finishing than they have in the past. So maybe you do have to up the physicality a little bit more at the point of attack, risk some fouls, but they also don't have a lot of guys that maybe excel playing that style of defense. So a lot of pieces that they still have to figure out, which isn't a great spot to be in, but also you talk about how it doesn't feel great watching this game. They still got some time, especially once we get to the Big East to figure things out. Obviously they need to be on their in their best shape heading into this Vegas tournament. Doesn't feel that way, but
not a ton of time for Baylor.
Yeah, I would say they've got to figure these things out pretty quick here with Baylor, and then a regular season matchup against Iowa State coming up this upcoming week. That is our Blue Jay breakdown for the week with Jacob Padilla, and that is the end of the show for the day for Hurrdat Sports Live. DB, have a safe trip to State College, and Hurrdat Sports Live will be.
Oh, that's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow. You got to.
I forget it's Thursday.
Dude's over here crunching tape already.
Always crunching tape. He's always on huddle. That is the show for today. Hurrdat Sports Live will be back tomorrow. We'll see you on Friday.